Special public meeting of February 25th, 2019 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers on February 19, 2019, and this notice has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board and on the Township website. Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at mayor and council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door on your left. Please silence all cell phones. Could everybody please stand for a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Bruno. Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilman Cumming.
Here.
Councilman Ullman.
Here.
Council President DeSena.
Here. Also in attendance, Administrator Tovo, CFO Curran, and Clerk Susan Witkowski. Do I have a motion to open the meeting up to the public?
So moved. Second.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman Ullman.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. Seeing no one in attendance, do I have a motion to close the public discussion?
So moved. Second.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman Ullman.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. Good evening, gentlemen and ladies.
Good evening, sir.
We're going to start on page 17 under engineering services. If that's okay with everybody? 901-20-165-100. Salary and wages for the Department of Engineering Director, $1250 requested, $1250 budgeted. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. General engineering, $65,000 requested, $65,000 budgeted. It's for the retainer and the professional services for 2019 for our new engineer.
That was his contract rate?
We don't have a contract with him yet, but we're going to break up that amount shown here, part of his retainer, so we're not paying for meetings and phone calls and that sort of thing. They'll just, we will have to be certain with the number of times we're meeting and talking on the phone. But we have a lot of projects upcoming, and I know there's going to be more hours of things that may fall even outside of capital.
Is that your number, Mr. Tovo, or is that the request from the actual engineering firm?
There's been no request from them. We looked at some of the historical numbers and the projects upcoming. We felt we should bump it up a little bit, but left it to our discretion.
Okay.
So when are the remaining bills going to come through, and do we have any pending? So I'm looking at Azzalina and Fury, and they have given us a general engineering through September. So do we know, oh, there's actually October, excuse me, November, December, are we getting that? Or do we know what that is? Because the 65 seems a little light to me.
I had a question to ask Mr. Tovo. Mike, I agree. Are we taking the intersection proposal out of the 400 that we put in capital last year?
Correct.
Okay, then, 65 is okay then, Mike. We had all received the proposal for the intersection design of 53 plus the 8 for additional survey. That's coming out of the 400 that we put in capital last year. So I think the 65 is a good placeholder for 2019 going forward.
Okay, then just one question. There are quite a few numbers related to Pascack and Washington intersection that we were billed for last year. And just wondering, is any of that work, has that been turned over? Are we?
All the work has been turned over to Boswell.
You may have other paperwork.
Well, that's not for,
All the survey and everything has been turned over to them,
with
right?
curb cuts and everything in the ADA, whatever left to be done, as Alina's been instructed to finish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but Mike's talking about the intersection.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For the intersection, everything has been turned over by Azzalino, is what I've been, yeah.
Sorry, Paul has.
Mr. Azzalino promised us we'd have the intersection, the curb cuts by Friday?
Thursday, yeah.
By Thursday, correct?
So, okay.
So there's no more billing going forward?
For Azzalino on the intersection? No.
Okay, was that your question, Michael?
That was it, and just the work that's been done, is it a throwaway? Because there's, just looking at it real quick, there's $10,000 or $12,000 that's defined as Pascack-Washington intersection.
Well, that was the original proposal we received from Azalino to do the base survey for the county, Mike.
And that was sent, that was done?
That was
Sent to
completed,
them,
yes.
And it was utilized?
Yes.
Okay.
So the 15K,
Yeah, he only billed us, I think, 12 and a
Yeah,
15.
none of it's a throwaway, it's just did not transfer to Boswell for them to take it the rest of the way.
okay. And the only other thing I had is, Azalina and Fury had provided us with some past due POs. Assuming the 65 is good for real engineering, do we have to make provisions for potentially? Okay.
It's wiped clean, right?
When we say white clean, there might be some escrow monies.
Going
out
towards
there.
that?
No, the escrows have nothing to do with this part of the budget. So those escrows are open, and he still has a bill pending, he may or may, he will likely get paid. If they're closed, he's done.
And of that 140K, there's no responsibility of the township?
I guess, Bob, the question I asked you this morning, we gave him X amount of dollars toward that $118,000, and then the remainder was escrow. I think we gave him, what, 80 or something?
And the
And-
conversation at the time between between Matt and him was that when we're done with this, we're done, we're paid off, we're clean, and everything else is fresh billing from there on. So I reaffirmed that conversation with him, so we're done. Other than the escrows, if they're open, you can be paid. If they're old and you didn't bill, doors closed.
Okay.
And Judy, we have a new best management practices of how we're handling escrows going forward for your department, so this
Yes.
doesn't occur again.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I can't say name, right, accounts payable person has paid a lot of the escrows. So I'm asking him to submit us a new update to see where we are, because a lot of them were paid last round.
I just don't, and I'm sure Mr. Holman doesn't want, and Mr. Cumming, we don't want any surprises where they're coming back and stuff.
No,
I want to make sure that if an applicant owes us escrow, that they receive an invoice for that escrow, and that I guess the next thing you and I talked about is that these escrows that have been sitting open for umpteen years need to be closed.
Yes.
And escrow checks need to be sent back for the remaining balances. So that's another cleanup that you said you were handling
Yes.
slowly, but
And
it's
also, I think
something you are
in the post
progressing.
office, there wasn't too much follow-up on soil, so we're doing that also.
Hey, we're looking to restructure that entire thing where
Thing,
these
right, but we're still.
permits get challenged.
But you are starting to close
Oh, no,
out
yes,
escrows.
Yes, a lot of work.
So people may be getting refund checks back, Mike, because there's people that have escrow sitting in accounts that never received their remaining balance back. So speaking with Judy and Bob about this, they have a new procedure going forward, and then all these escrows should be closed out that are old and, not needed any longer.
I agree. I mean,
Just
again,
sitting there, it doesn't help anybody.
No.
It's just another place for a mistake to be charged to, right, Judy? I mean,
Oh, definitely, I actually believe in that.
Judy, can you talk into the mic
I'm
better,
sorry.
please?
You're actually supposed to have an individual account opened up for each escrow, and that was never done, so we're going to do that going forward. You and I discussed that.
yeah, we discussed that, because that's what.
is it an account or a sub-account?
It's actually an individual bank account for each person that posts escrow.
So if I'm building.
Yes,
You're supposed to have an
I'm-
account.
I have an account,
yes.
and that wasn't done in the past.
No.
And let me ask, where did the sins go in the past? Was it just a general fund?
It's a general trust fund,
General
right?
trust fund, okay.
Can I just get a little clarification on one thing? I don't mean to beat it to death, Mr. Tobin, but there was the $140,000 bill that was settled for a lower final.
Oh. That's, it was a $130,000 bill. 17,000 of that was 2018 billings, which were part of the intersection that Mike's talking about. So that brings it down to 113. Of that remaining 113, there was about 30,000 and change in unbilled escrow accounts. The remaining 80+ thousand, right, Bob, if I'm not mistaken, was money that the Township of Washington owed Azalino and Fury, which we paid. He was told that
He
if
has a check?
he got a check, it's
It's
cash,
paid.
yes.
We have some kind of an acknowledgement from him that it's paid.
We do.
The monthly
Nothing else is open.
The monthly invoice no longer shows all those outstanding invoices, correct? Is that what I've been told? So
I would say.
so one of the things was we were,
Probably 99% of that was escrow.
was escrow, yeah. So every month, we were receiving the invoice statement saying you owe us $113,000, which was always disregarded for some reason, which we don't know why that was
Didn't know
done.
about it until it was.
Correct, until it was brought up.
presented by Matt at a meeting.
That new, after this check was issued to Azalino, the invoice went to zero and started with that $17,000 of new bills from 2018,
Any
yeah.
bills we're getting now are either escrows or for current projects we're allowing them to complete.
But none of the old stuff is on that monthly, is what I've been told. I haven't seen it, but I believe the professionals that are telling us that.
Okay, thank you.
And just to the point you made, the intersection will be charged against the capital,
It will,
the
yes.
work that Boswell does going
Correct.
forward.
Yeah, that, out of the 400 we put there last year, Mike.
So 65, you feel confident?
I think that's a great number for them to do what Bob has asked, you know.
Okay. I'm okay.
Everybody okay with that?
I'm okay with
Yes.
65 for two of
The
them.
administrator thinks it's the number,
Yeah.
it's the number.
Stormwater management fees, 901-20165-202, 6,000 requested, 6,000 budgeted. Everybody okay with that?
Who's going to do that going forward?
The Boswell.
Boswell.
And that's outside of their typical?
Correct.
Typically a
It's
separate.
it's a different line item in our budget, and typically it is.
Do we think this is a good number for
It's
Boswell?
a good number.
Good number for this year, I think as we identify more projects, that number may go up in out years.
Let me ask, Mike, why do you think the number was down to 2,000, 4,000 previous years, and then it jumps up to 5? Is it because we have more stormwater, or is it just, when you say
The
management?
regulations changed in those years, so we had to
Okay.
create stormwater management plans,
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
so.
And
But
just-
everybody okay with the 6?
Just one last question. There's a permit in the actuals.
Yes.
Should the permit be against engineering fees, or should it be against another line?
Good question, can you check that?
Yeah, it does get billed to that line, yes.
On page 35, at the very top, there's a $2,048 permit.
Well, I have seen that in that line item before in other towns. Have you seen that before, Mike?
Well, if you look at the one before, it's the stormwater discharge general permit, state of New Jersey, $2,000 above it.
Right, yeah. I'm saying because I have seen permits charged there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it can be charged to that line, Mike. I think it's a good tracking because it does relate to stormwater, so,
okay.
right?
The only thing is that we'd have to make sure that if that was 2,000, what would Boswell fees be?
Well, I think it's a state permit, so it's a general,
Are we putting 5,000 in that line item?
we're putting 6 now. We raised it a little bit
Okay,
to count,
6,000.
yeah. All right. Public Affairs, Salary and Wage Director, 901-20406-100. Requested is 2,000, budget is 2,000. I had an issue with this because I think all directors by ordinance have to be paid $12.50 unless we change it. Mr. Tobin?
The mayor made a request to bump up a few of our directors because their duties require more work. I was comfortable that the ordinance would support that. I have not personally checked it.
I am not comfortable with paying directors different fees. If you're a director, you get one fee. If you want to bump this up, then I suggest that the mayor may make a recommendation to bump everyone else up 2,000. But I am not in favor of that, so I'm going to ask to keep it at $12.50 at this point.
Mike, are you okay with $12.50?
I am, yes.
Mr. Cumming, you okay with reducing it to $12.50?
And in fairness, though, some of the directors do a substantial.
I could see the road director. He does a lot of work for our town. I could see his,
In that light, there may be justification.
in his, but this one I don't see it.
I don't
For-
know. I
yeah.
don't know about this one. I'd like to have the mayor make
Can we
his
flag
pitch.
so the mayor can comment on it?
Gentlemen, you want to reduce it, or do you want to?
I'd like to reduce it to the 1250 like everyone else, minus 750.
So you want to take 750, Mr. Ullman, what do you say?
I'm okay with that, and if the mayor wants to come back, we can readdress it, but
Okay, so we're going to reduce this one, but we'll flag it if the mayor wants to address it, but we'll reduce it to 1250. Public Affairs, Salary and Wages Event Coordinator, 0. So this item can be deleted, right, because it's got 5 years of 0 on it, right? So we
Yep.
can eliminate
Please
this
delete.
Yep.
line. Public Affairs Postage, 1,500 requested, 1,500 budgeted. What is this for, do we know?
calendar.
The calendar?
So I propose that we eliminate the calendar and all expenses related to it. This was, for years, a thorn in people's side, that it was issued in January or February or even later.
Usually March, Mike.
Oh, we did get it in January this year, so.
We did get it. We did get it.
The mayor wanted to change direction on it, make it sort of self-funding, and we did that last year. We had a full year to get ready. We got it in end of January, early February again. I don't see the demand for a paper calendar, and, it was one of the things I requested was a accounting of the calendar, what we took in revenue, what it costs, and, no, but regardless, I mean, I personally feel that we should eliminate the calendar.
We started at 7.
I'm going to agree with Mr. Ullman. As long as there's money in there for the necessary items that need to go out for public education, specifically garbage pickup, recycling, and leaf pickup, because we usually used to have the flyers go out, I believe. And I know it was a lot cheaper to do it that way. But, I wouldn't mind, I'd like to see an accounting of it, as Mr. Ullman requested, but I think...
Would you like to flag it and see what the actual numbers are and what was subsidized by the,
I'd be amenable to that. What do you think, Mike? See where it is and then come back to it?
Can I?
Mr. Cumming, are you okay with flagging it, or are
I
you?
think flagging is a good idea. Let's see what income there was
Okay.
to offset the cost of it.
So if that postage is due to the calendar, we'll flag it, Mike, and we'll get the actual numbers and we'll bring it back if that's okay?
That's fine. And just to be clear, my concern is not only that it's self-funding.
It's multiple items, right?
It's throughout.
Yeah,
But
correct.
it's also that it came out late again, and, we skewered the former mayor for that. And
So you have something, Sue?
Yeah, and just in addition, I know what Bernadette went through with this calendar this year. She tried to streamline it so it wasn't as, whatever as last year. We had a new vendor that was much less expensive than the year before. And there was a lot of going back and forth with the proofs, Bernadette and myself and the mayor all sat and proofread it a number of times, so.
And
not that
Bernadette
it
wasn't supposed to
changes.
prepare it originally anyway, right?
Well,
Somebody else-
it came
correct.
back to her. She
Yes.
wasn't due to do it. It was somebody else's last year, and it came back to her this year at the last minute. And so, not that there's an excuse for coming out at the end of January, but that is part of the reason why it was.
If you,
And I will say there
we
was
can
another-
we flag it and get back to Mike if that's okay?
that's
Yeah,
fine.
and there were a number of residents that come in looking for those calendars,
And I was going to say that, so
especially the seniors,
they constantly bother us.
constantly.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to it. Public Affairs Employee Holiday Party, 901-20406-230, 9,000 requested, 9,000 budgeted. We're on page 18, Bob. Everybody okay with that?
Go ahead, Mike, I'm sorry.
You go first.
I know we want to say holiday party. I think it should be employee appreciation party more than a holiday party. Sounds stupid, sounds just something, but I think it's an appreciation.
Well, I'm sure we could have the item amended to be
Yes,
appreciation party, if
because
everybody's okay.
That's really what it is. We're appreciating our
Employees,
loyal
yeah.
employees not just celebrating a holiday, which we all do anyway, but it's a little
Yeah.
something that these, and I think it worked out nicely this year, and I think the employees really appreciate it. And I don't think $9,000 is a lot to spend overall on all our employees to have a little get-together. But I approve the 9,000.
Mr. Ullman?
So my question is, how do we go from, I have a few questions, but how do we go from 6.8 to 9, which is like a 35% increase?
Well, we had 9 in there last year.
We only used
We got a
6.8.
better deal, I think.
What's that?
I think it was a better deal.
Oh, it's officially, we know the
I think
price for
that-
this
No, I
year?
think that was a better deal, that's what happened. I think
Yeah.
the cost was just
And
lower
I think,
than
Mike,
we
what happened last
anticipated.
year is everybody was in, we had a lot of mixed reviews up to the last minute. We had employees that weren't coming, then they were coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think this year, because of the great turnout from last year, Mike, I think we'll have more employees there. So the overall number will go up a little bit from last year. That's my
I
feelings.
think last year we just threw a number out because we had no idea how much.
Correct.
How many people were.
No, but I also think, there were employees that didn't attend because they didn't know how it was going to be, and now that they've heard that it was a great evening for everybody, I think you're going to have, you're probably close to 100% attending this year.
So my next comment probably won't go over too well, but I didn't get a landslide of feedback, but a few people did ask me questions about it. And I am wondering, is a luncheon more appropriate? From a budget perspective, and it's not to say we don't appreciate our employees.
Well, then we have to pay them for their hours of work while they're at the luncheon. That's the only problem. This is off hours, so we don't have the employee costs. So that's the problem with the luncheon. You're not going to be able to do all that in 1 hour and have an event that everybody would be entitled. So that's why we had the evening party, so this way it's on your own dime, when you're there.
You can start it at 3:30. That's what another town does. I'm just saying. They
Yeah,
start
but-
At 3:30 and then it continues.
Yeah, but I think the object is not to, if we do it at luncheon, like Mike is saying, then we're gonna have to pay, yeah, that's a problem then, because then we're gonna have, and you're gonna have no staff here during that. We're gonna have to close the
You have to
offices.
have the offices
Closed,
covered.
yeah.
There's no way to close the buildings.
Okay.
At least,
It does make sense. I mean, if they're gonna come back to work, it's not really a party for them.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna have them at a party and close early, we're not serving the public.
I said, this
Yeah,
other
they're having-
town had it at 3:30 in the afternoon. It started at 3:30.
So we can close the office an hour
So
early,
you-
which
you-
you could do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That you can.
I think if you're gonna spend the money and do it in the mid-afternoon, a lot of people aren't gonna leave without going home and getting dressed to go to Seasons or wherever we're having it. You're not gonna go there dressed like a schlep,
No, I think people have to
Yeah, but,
admit,
yeah, so, yeah.
And we don't do a lot.
No.
I don't see a lot done for the employees.
So, are we okay with it, gentlemen, or?
Mike, I think last year was a good gesture in terms of changing of the guards and morale booster. I think going forward, it becomes quite an expense. Last year, I didn't have a problem with it because I felt, we needed it. I think the employees needed it. I think going forward, it's expensive. I would not suggest we keep continuing to fund $9,000-$10,000 for.
You're a no, Bob?
I'm a no.
Steve, you're a yes?
I'm okay with it. I think it's a good morale boost.
Mike, you are?
I'd like to see it lower, quite honestly.
Well, the number did come in lower last year, so, I think it's just we need to have it in the budget, and if it comes in, I don't think it'll get much higher than what we had last year, but it's gonna be higher
Well,
because.
you know what, I don't feel bad lowering it if you want to take.
You want to make it
take
8
that
grand?
7.
You want to make it 8,000?
Make it the 7. We'll keep it to
Well,
that.
7's going to be close, Steve, because you are going to have people that didn't show up last year that are going to show up, so I think you're,
Are we doing a per head? How did it work last year? Because I have no idea. We just got I have no idea.
I don't know.
It was per head.
It was per head. It was
Was it
per
per
head.
head?
Yeah, so,
So,
I would, I vote no at the current rate.
Are you okay with it at 8,000?
At 8, I would propose 8.
Steve, are you okay with it at 8?
Yes, I'm
Mr.
fine
Cumming,
with
are you
I'm
okay
fine
with it at 8?
Absolutely.
Mr. Bruno, you still a no at 8?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, can we,
And I think it's a lot of money.
yeah, it is a lot of money, but I think the
it's an
employees deserve it.
important thing.
Yeah. So gentlemen, we'll move forward with making this 8,000. We'll lower the mayor's recommendation by $1,000.
Okay.
Maybe we can look at some other restaurants on the other side of town that also do parties, that have been sponsoring events for us, but we never seem to use them, which is Bakari.
I guess we'll make that recommendation to the mayor. What do you?
Why not?
Public Affairs, holiday decorations, 901-20-406-240, 1,000 requested, 1,000 budgeted. Are we okay with that, gentlemen?
Do we know what it's for?
Yeah, the mayor has indicated that we haven't funded this line item, as we can all see, in a number of years, so the decorations need to be replaced.
We did have new decorations. this
They were
year.
very no frills. I think the line is, if we want to, when we were down at the League of Municipalities, there's companies that provide decorations for, municipalities. And we're not going to be able to buy anything for $1,000 other than buying store-bought stuff like we have been, which doesn't really fit the size we need for the front. So I think 1,000 is a good gesture toward moving forward, but it's still not going to get us anything major, Mike, I think the Christmas tree,
intent is to
the Christmas,
start
yeah, the
funding
Christmas,
it.
yeah, start to fund. I think the Christmas tree we looked at, Steve, when we were down at the League of Municipalities was like $3,800 for the 30-foot real tree. Not, we bought one that looks nicer than what our old one did, but it's a fake, it's just a string light, it's a string light tree, which is not,
We need to add to it each year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are we okay with the
I was
1,000?
told it was greatly improved last
Oh,
year.
absolutely,
When it was
absolutely.
done.
Oh, it was night and day,
And I
Art,
think-
absolutely.
I was thinking there could be a little addition each
Yeah, absolutely,
year.
yeah.
And that's what it should be, just like,
There's also stuff, it's the weather's hard on
They're
the
not-
material.
Yeah.
They're not throwaways, they're keepers and, add.
How much money do we have, Judy, in our reserve still for this public? That's what I was looking for.
About
the
50,000.
financials. It's still 50,000, so we had 80. So we used 30, we still have 50.
The 50,000.
Well, we used it for Community Day.
Well, events, different events.
Yeah. Bob, we did spend it for Community Day. Remember, we defunded Community Day in last year's budget and used the reserves, which I'm sure we're going to do this year again.
Yeah.
Are we okay with $1,000, gentlemen? All right, moving on. Public Affairs meetings, 901-20-406-250, 2,000 requested, 2,000 budgeted. Mr. Tovar, do you have any idea what this
The
is?
mayor would like this to become more active again, and for there to be more meetings and, maybe coffee and conversation with residents sort of thing, so I'd like to refund it and revitalize that.
That's a lot of coffee.
So this is not for,
No, this is I believe this is the mayor meeting with the public, is that correct?
He didn't specify which meetings, but I think that would fall in line with that. Not just one of them,
Oh, I understand that. I understand. I mean, we had a promise from the former mayor that she was going to meet with the residents every Saturday
Excuse me.
in the chamber here if they had questions or concerns, apparently. And obviously, that never happened. Is this what he envisions?
I don't want to speak for him on what he
I would
You want to flag this one, gentlemen?
say.
Oh, you are no?
No.
no, I'm okay with it. I just want to be clear that this is not meeting conferences and dues.
No.
Yeah, I don't want somebody to have this as a stipend, is what I wanted to interject into that. Like, as long as this is for coffee and, stuff for the public, I have no problem with it.
Coffee with a cup costs $400
Yeah,
an
correct.
occurrence.
Yeah.
So this is like
5
5 such occurrences.
Yeah.
And if that, I'm not sure if he's got that in mind, and I think he ought to have a chance to produce, to say something about this line item.
So if
Flag
this
it, I want to talk about it because I'm not going to fund it at all unless I get.
and if it's, okay, so if it is for the mayor, we should get out of here. This is a new line item, so rather than clutter this up for the next 10 years, if it goes through, we put it into the mayor's.
All right, I'll flag 902-406-250. Moving on, Public Affairs website, 901-20-406-320, 6,500 requested, 6,500 budgeted. Is this for the redesign, Mr. Tovo, or is
It
this is for the full redesign of our website? So it brings it into the new era?
Correct.
Nice.
Whether we're like with a current vendor or another, I'm sure that number will work.
So
I'm a little upset because what I'm concerned with is our current vendor last year charged us $6,015.50. And for $485 more, we're getting a full redesign, and I've seen the samples that they've submitted. So it's a little,
Well,
there's a disconnect there.
We met with our web designer, and the cost for the redesign is minimal at best, and this number would cover that.
Okay.
I think it's cheap, actually.
Well, that's what I thought, Bob. That's why I thought it was too low, because if this is including the redesign,
Redesign.
Remember, it's a redesign, we're not rebuilding it or building a new one, so we're just changing the look.
okay. I'm okay with it, gentlemen. What about you, Mr. Bruno? You okay with it?
Yeah, I've always been against this website that we have. Needs to be updated.
It does need to be updated very
It's just
soon.
not, it's just not user-friendly.
No.
That's the problem.
So the quarterly 1,200, that's,
Maintenance and,
are we going to see?
Well, some of the redesigns isn't included in that, because, I think, if she can incorporate that work into, the maintenance of it, that's why it's so inexpensive to.
understood.
I just want to make sure that, again,
all
6,500 is
encompassing.
enough.
Yes, and we actually have other quotes from other companies to do a redesign, and it's within that number as well.
But are we going to be guaranteed? I know I had sent you some samples, like the Waldwick one and the Hillsdale one, and the ones that are really up to date. Is it going to be just like theirs, similar, like, you touch,
That's what we're asking for, and if we don't get that, then we have other vendors that will provide that.
okay.
And one question, do you have mobile with this? Is there a mobile application with the,
I will check on that.
okay.
We have it now.
There should
Well, we have it now.
We have it, well, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, we have it now.
Does it?
Yeah, this one, the one we have is, again, not
The
user-friendly.
mobile app is horrible, too.
I just can't see it,
For
yeah.
us from the dinosaur age, make it simple.
All right,
please.
we're okay with it? Mr. Cumming, you okay with it?
Yes, sir.
All right, public affairs.
No offense to me and you. We're just
Public
behind the eight ball when it
affairs.
comes to that.
Printing, 901-20406-470, 8,000 requested, 8,000 budgeted.
And that is for,
That's going to be flagged because that's for the calendar, right, Mike?
6,000 is the calendar and then some
calendar.
other stuff.
So we'll flag that item.
Calendar's a separate line,
No,
two down,
there's,
it's in there.
But there's
there's,
stuff in there.
there's multiple, it crosses multiple.
a
So
lot of lines.
that 406, 470 printing is on page
35.
35 on the bottom. And 3,100 is
Calendar.
5,900 is calendar. Page 35 at the very bottom.
Okay.
Ridgewood Press, 5,900. That eats up most of it.
Can we flag these, the printing and the calendar?
Yeah, all
Okay,
three.
What we're looking at here is the reduction that we saw this year on the calendar, bringing, well, we project next year the total calendar cost to be $5,000, including printing and postage altogether.
All right, well,
Is
right
that
now
net
you
or
have,
gross?
So what's that?
Is that net or gross?
That would be the complete spend. Everything from the design to the printing to the postage. We found a new vendor this year that we did a pretty good job and saved us $4,000.
all right. So we'll flag 470, we'll flag 510, public affairs calendar, and miscellaneous. Do we need to flag that, or so we have 901-20406-500 miscellaneous public affairs, 1,500 requested, 1,500 budgeted.
Summer concerts is miscellaneous.
Those are, I think, reversed out, though. They reclassed them. The only thing that's in there is
Good class, yeah.
Italian Ices from Memorial Day, I think is the actual.
Yep.
And a wall mount plaque, which I don't know what it was, but that was 300.
Are we okay with the miscellaneous budget of 1,500?
I guess it's all right, but, I mean, we've been slamming every other department, and they have 100, I mean, or 200. We're at 1,500.
So you want to make it 1,000 because they only spent $707 last year? Is everybody okay with reducing it to 1,000?
I'm okay with that.
Mr. Cassio, Mr. Bruno?
Yep.
Mr. Cumming?
Okay.
So we're going to reduce 500 to 1,000,
1,500 to 1,000.
406, 500.
Yes.
406, 500, so minus 500.
Okay.
All right? Public affairs, videotaping council meetings, 10,000 requested, 10,000 budgeted. It was 9,900 exactly last year, so we okay with that?
Oh, I just had a question. Do we want to, we know that there are some large planning and zoning applications potentially, and it's been asked at council meetings, should we expand the videotaping? And I don't know if it would be here or it would be elsewhere, but do we want to consider that?
Well, once you start it, when do you stop it?
It's a good question.
And it's a significant cost.
That's why most towns don't do it.
That's why most towns don't do it, because of the cost. Because once you start it, you're setting precedent, then when do you stop it?
Yeah, how do you determine what's big and what's
Yeah,
a small
correct.
application?
I think if the applicant is so contentious that people should make it into the meetings to
Let them
watch
pay
it.
for it.
And I think, because once you start it, when do you stop it? That's the problem.
Well, I guess the other thing is, are there less intensive taping methods? So right now, we have, 3 or 4 cameras that are monitored live, they switch. I mean, I've seen towns with the overhead cam that just is one steady shot. It starts at the beginning at the gavel and it ends at the next gavel. I don't know if that costs less.
Well, I think it's WCTV who's got to produce it, so I don't, right now, at least unless somebody else does it on their own with
There's
some.
only one tech up there
Yeah,
running
there's
it
only-
one
yeah,
way or the other.
Correct, so
Well, I
it's,
think it'd be fair to reevaluate this next year, because in capital, we do a request for them to upgrade their system so they can do most of this work remote.
okay.
So if they can do that, it might be worth a revisit.
Okay.
Yeah, until the equipment's upgraded, I don't think they can't do it remotely, right? They have to be here on site.
And then, I'm sorry, Mike, but can we just go back to 510? I know we're looking at that 5,000 as the request, but we have a credit balance in the account of $100. And it seems, and I don't know the proper accounting, page 36, but it would appear that donations are reflected here. I don't know if that's,
Yes, that's exactly what that is.
so, and I don't know if that's correct or not, but again, if we start netting things out, we'll never really understand true costs. That's why the 3,000 that it actually costs for the calendar is, you don't see it because it's,
But there's all negatives in there for all the sponsors, you're
because
saying.
we netted it off against the donations. Those should probably be on 2 separate lines, so we understand.
Actually, I questioned this when finance assistant was telling me about this, and I've been in towns where the auditor would not allow it to be done this way. It had to be separated out.
So
Can we do it as a
Sure, if you
revenue
want.
item?
Well, normally,
we do
normally
direct
what happens
comparison?
is that you have the
Judy,
expenditure, then.
you gotta talk
Oh,
in.
I'm sorry. Normally you have the expenditure, and you have the revenue on a separate item.
Right.
That's
That
normally
should
the way
be.
it's done, the way it's done.
Then we just do side by side, you know what's in, what's out.
Yeah, I mean, the run rate, if you look at this, we budgeted 3,000 last year. We made $97, and now we want 5,000. And just looking at it, it does not appear kosher.
Well, the reason, just to clarify, the ask for the 5,000 is an all-in cost.
Sure.
Rather than being scattered in 5 different line items.
Okay.
And you don't know what you're gonna get as far as a reimbursement is concerned, so I think you're better off having the true cost there, and then you could see what the reimbursement would be.
So we'll set it up that way as a revenue so we can do the comparison.
Yep.
All right, so going back to 901-20406-520, 10,000 requested, 10,000 budgeted for videotaping council meetings. Are we okay with that, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Bruno, you okay? Mr. Cassio, Mr. Cumming?
Yes.
I'm good with this.
Computer supplies, can we eliminate this line since it's not been budgeted? WCTV cable television expense, 10,000 requested, 10,000 budgeted. Is this for the new equipment, Bob? Or
This is some of the smaller pieces that may go along with the upgrade that we're gonna, that we're asking for in capital.
What we did last year.
And they pretty much spent their,
Photo, video.
Cameras. I mean,
I mean, it's not cheap.
I approve it, or I support it.
You're okay with it? Mr. Bruno, you okay with it?
Yeah, this is more equipment for them? Is that what you said?
Some equipment,
Some
there's another line item we're gonna get to.
not all their equipment qualifies for capital, so it would remain operating smaller, wiring, cables, couplers.
This line was supposed to not fall off, but be reduced over time, because we just keep, we started upgrading back in 14, when we initially thought we were gonna get the meetings televised, so we put it in there. But eventually, there was an understanding, and I think it's been traditionally funded around 5,000, but I think the understanding with WCTV was it was supposed to come down over time because they had nothing. I don't mind funding it whatsoever because, we desperately need it, but in the future, that number should start to reduce a little bit because you'll be equipmented out.
Okay.
So, this is just a comment.
Should be, you're right.
So we're okay with the
I'm okay
request?
okay, but I'd
Mr.
like
Cumming,
to
you
see
okay
it
with
come
it?
down.
Yes.
All right,
Or do you want to keep it steady at 7, because they've been spending
Everything's
7?
changing every year, too. So equipment becomes obsolete very quickly.
they do need new equipment, that's why some of it is in there.
Did you meet with them and they give you a
Did.
budget for this?
Yes.
They just said 10 grand or?
Well, obviously, it was a little bit higher because they were lumping their capital with their operating. Once we separated it out, that we get the breakdown we're looking at today.
I mean, the way I look at it, they use cardboard lunch boxes to shield the cameras.
That's true.
My understanding is some of the cameras that we're using were donated by some of the individuals who volunteer. And I'm not discounting that it should be managed and managed down, but I think if you look around,
Okay, we're not,
No, we're not overspending by any stretch of the imagination,
yeah.
but we do have to,
Yeah, their defense, the reason you see their number closer to their budgeted amount is they stopped spending money.
Right.
Doesn't mean the need went away.
And that is true.
They're lucky they were
Buy a
probably
lot of
able to
cardboard
spend that
boxes for
amount.
that. That's
Well, in the past, we funded it, Bob, and it wasn't allowed to be spent.
That's what I'm saying, they're lucky they even got that.
So,
and the only other thing I would say is this is not only for the council chamber.
it's for everything
This is,
upstairs.
they go
Upstairs
out.
too.
Upstairs, but they go,
Basketball games, football
Yeah.
games,
Sure.
all the other stuff they use. Bless you.
Thank you.
public service.
Yes, they are a key public service.
I'm okay with the 10. It's not a problem. So we're all good with 10, right?
Yep, we're all good with 10.
Yeah.
Bob, can you move that microphone to you, please? Thank you. Gentlemen, if we can go back to page 14 and go to Department of Law, salary. Bob, we held off on Department of Law while you weren't here, so.
Thank you.
So at the bottom of page 14, Director of Law, salary 901-20155-110, 74,201 requested, 74,201 budgeted. I'm okay with that, gentlemen.
Are we rising? There's some discussions I'd like to have with this whole, not so much.
Then we'll have to hold that one for the,
I don't see an issue with, what are your issues with this,
Well,
Bob?
there's a lot of discussion I want to have on all these other expenses, but you're going to bring up names and conversations and things, so.
Well, the number is a standard number for the salary itself. We did bring it down last year.
We cut it in half last year, gentlemen.
Well,
Oh.
we changed the way it was paid out. It was always paid out at a base rate plus $135 an hour for
Correct.
extraneous or additional work, which the chart does not allow for. The Department of Law is supposed to do everything, all litigation, under one umbrella, and that's why we brought it down, and that's what the number reflects. So I don't see it, I'm not going to say he doesn't get a 1.5, doesn't
It
get
includes the
1.5%.
1.5%, yeah.
It's a 1.5%.
It's less than
just-
1.5.
It's just what everyone else gets, so I don't see any problem with the number.
Well, I have a problem with a lot of the expenses that are in the whole department.
That's okay.
All right, so let's
Well,
move,
let's-
let's move on item by item, Bob.
Let's do
Let's
the
stop
item,
with,
and then if
let's,
there's something
if
you
we're
wanna
okay with
discuss,
110,
we'll
let's
come
approve 110.
So there's no appetite to reintroduce the $135 for extra?
No,
Well,
I don't have an appetite
Well,
for
let me
it.
ask you what your reasoning is, and then, I'd like to listen to your explanation.
Well, I don't feel that the monies, the salary that he has paid, you continually fall back on the code. In looking at this and in looking at other towns, I don't think anyone will do this job for this amount of money. And if we're having the service provided, I think it should be paid.
So this-
Now, if we don't want, if
Can I
we,
interrupt you, Mike? I'm sorry. This is why I think it should be raised, because I have some comments, but I can't say, you're gonna have a discussion about it, and I don't know how far you're gonna go, but then you're gonna go further, so.
okay, we'll rice it. So,
This way we can talk in without.
sure, okay.
You know what, then let's just skip the whole department and move on. We'll come back to this one, because I'm not going to go line by line and say we can, we cannot talk. So let's just skip the Department of Law for now.
I just want to make
You
sure,
go to do approve the basic number that we just spoke about?
no, they don't want to, I believe Mr. Ullman wants to, contemplate paying him more, right, Mr. Ullman? You're saying he's underpaid.
That's my comment.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my
I don't want to
position.
put words in your mouth,
No.
but, Mr. Bruno, you're under the same idea that he's underpaid also, that we should?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Oh,
So I think the question is,
No, but there's
is,
some comments I'd like to add to Mike's comment. If Mike's gonna say this, but it's gonna lead into stuff we shouldn't be saying. That's what I.
all right,
Mr. President. I
Yeah,
think-
Mr. Pollard, can you, Mrs. Witkowski, can you please rice Mr. Pollard so we can discuss his department, please?
you don't want to go through the rest of it?
I guess I was ready to get rid of extraordinary services and litigation. I wanted to eliminate that line because it's been zero for years. So I wanted to get rid of 120, if that's okay with everybody. Department of Law subscription and books, 000 for years. We can eliminate that line also. Department of Law, other legal services, I was okay with the 20,000 requested, the 20,000 budgeted.
So I guess my only question, so this is 260? Line
Line,
260?
yeah, 901-20-155-260, Mike.
Okay, so last year, it was 8,700.
Yep.
We used 1,000 of the excess in another line, so basically $9,000, and now it's going to 20. And I'm trying to understand what is the expectation. So did Ken give or did the department head give a forecast? Because today, it's basically two firms that we're being charged for.
It's going to be Mazer and the special master, right?
No, who's Clark Canton Hinds?
This is all coming from Mr. Palmer.
That's I think that's the special master.
What does he
That's
want
the
to
special
spend-
master.
What does he want to, no, that's the other one. What does he want to spend it on?
For other legal, we,
No,
yes,
but did he break it out?
he did. Not in great detail because it's litigation or potential
Mr. Bruno, can you
litigation, but
please push your microphone
between
closer
Coa-
to you?
some ongoing issues with
Thank you.
some properties affected by the DMF contamination and the possible planning board litigation, which will affect council, which will have to invest in some legal expertise to, define their position.
So I think then we need the department head in, not to ask him about the salary, which is a different discussion, but to understand what we are looking at prospectively, because in my mind, COA should be done. I mean, we have a statement of understanding with Van Emberg. We've rezoned the mill, we've rezoned, what was the other one?
The overlay, we did the overlay.
The overlay. I mean, I thought this is like dotting a few i's, crossing a few t's, and we're moving on.
I think if you read Mr. Lamb's letter that was given to us at the last meeting, I think we have some serious concerns that this council needs to be advised by their council on. And it may require more work, Mike, so let's leave it at that until we go into special. But, until we go into close to discuss it with Mr. Pollard. But I think we need to revisit this. So let's move, let's leave the Department of Law until we can have him here, Bob. Can we have him here? Well, Monday night is.
Let's have a close, Mr. President, let's have a closed session with Mr. Pollard.
And for his
discuss those
department,
issues-
yeah.
To discuss those issues that he foresees possibly occurring.
Correct.
So I'm going to make that request.
I agree with that request.
Sue, can you put that in there?
Yeah, she's going to write Mr. Pollard.
And I'll write him in for Monday night. then,
Monday
and then
night, so we can
kind of wrap
discuss it right
everything
at the
in one.
meeting Monday night. This way we'll go into budget as soon as the meeting's over, and we'll discuss this with Mr. Pollard.
Well, if you're talking about the potential of strategy, that should be in a closed session,
Correct.
okay?
And then we'll come out of close and discuss his budget
Yes.
items, if that's okay. If he chooses to discuss his items, it's up to him once we write them, if he does
That's
it in
true.
closed or open.
But
So
at least in
that is his
closed, I
choice,
want-
Mike, that,
No, I understand it, but that's only one component, so the
we need to
discussion
discuss
of-
both components.
There's a discussion of his the salary line,
And
which is
discussion of-
one discussion,
Potential litigation,
and the second is potential litigation.
which is closed.
And the
which would
cost
be-
associated with that
Yes.
potential
Yes.
litigation. So Sue, can you put that in the closed session for next week?
I think she did.
Thank you. All right, so we'll go back to page 19 and continue from WCTV cable expense. The next line item is Planning Department Secretary salary, 8536 requested, 8536 budgeted. Are we okay with that, gentlemen? On page 19.
And that-
19, 90121180110.
That is the traditional 1.5% increase over what it was.
I believe so. It is.
So-
Are we gonna continue this minimal 1.5% raise for our employees?
Well, I think the issue was, we were talking about the merit system, and then I think Mr. Tobo was wanting to discuss how we're going to implement that merit system. But I think at a minimum, you have to give them at least a 1.5% to
I'm saying-
2% raise. You're saying the minimum should be higher than that? Is that what you're saying, Art?
I understand that the 1.5% was under the former administration, and that's absolutely minimal in today's
Doesn't even meet
lifestyle.
cost of living, you're absolutely right.
It's not a cost of living. It's below the cost of living. And it was unrealistic, and I think that they ought to get something more realistic as a
Well, let me
standard
just-
cost of living
So-
raise.
Over the last few years, go ahead, Steve.
No, it's okay, go ahead.
Over the
Bob.
last few years, there's been, I think, a big effort made for individuals that have been here that we felt were underpaid either on an hourly rate or on a salaried rate. And we went through and bumped a lot of people up, not arguing the 1.5%, but we did go through. But, we've been asking for some kind of merit system to see these people's performance evaluations. Maybe somebody gets nothing, somebody gets.
Maybe 1.5 is too high.
Right, so,
I wouldn't penalize anybody. Well,
Listen,
Based on your job
I'm
performance.
familiar
Well, Art,
with the review system, and my own family got reviewed at the hospital they worked at, and they got a good review, so they got 3% or something like that.
Art, if you just look at that line, 110, right?
But I would like to see a lot of it. I know you bumped people up. I was part of that last year, and I agree with that in some cases. But I wonder if we ought to look at a slightly higher number for the regular
Well, I guess the
don't need
mayor's,
to be
well, the
adjusted.
mayor's decision was to give him a 1.5, so that is his decision, because that's his request to us.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know,
Well, I'm not running for anything.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
know.
not
I
trying
understand.
to grandstand. I just want to tell you what I think is on my mind that I'm concerned
I think we
about.
You know,
should have a real
here,
procedure, though.
I hope we all speak our mind openly, whether we're running for office
Or not.
okay? It's not a matter of grandstanding, but if you feel that way, I want to know what your feelings are, just like Mike and Bob and Mr. DeSena. That's what we're here for. And if you feel it's unfair, I want to hear about it. That's why we do it.
that's why we do it openly
televised.
like this. So if you think that number should be something else, Art,
I think it
Please
should be
suggest.
at least 2.
Okay, so I'm going to put in the column
Please.
that Art thinks
you would consider it.
1.5% is too low at the current
At least 2.
structure.
Let's
At
move
2%. Okay?
My notes weren't clear on the increase.
So everything should go to 2%, all the 1.5.
All the minimums
All
should
the
go to.
1.5s, I would think could go to 2. And I know, Bob, that you asked for employee reviews last year quite extensively and clearly. And I think the administration is very new. So that I believe, I'm not making excuses for them, but I don't think they've had time to do that, an opportunity. And I
It's a
hope
very-
going forward that they do it, because I think what you said made a lot of sense. And other people, I think.
Merit is
very
a very,
fluid-
very
it's a very
difficult
fluid thing, you know.
to do. I mean, there's very few places in the public sector where where you have merit pay, you know? It's very, I mean, look at the police,
your collective bargaining, that's a lot.
departments of education, all those things, and other unions, it's either collective bargaining or it's not on merit, it's on length of service. And I know Mr. Tovo's working on it, but I'm sure you're probably going crazy trying to figure out a fair and equitable way to do it, because I wouldn't know how to do it. So,
Well, you're right. I mean, many employers are covered by CBA or by, a union, so merit's is really not in play there. But the biggest issue I've seen with merit for those employees that fall outside those categories is an unwillingness to document why.
right.
So we have to get beyond that for a merit system to truly work.
But in all honesty, we have riced many people, and we've riced them for reasons that we felt were performance issues. But yet,
If you're still here.
100% versus nothing, versus whatever, So it's, the whole system has to be revamped, and, it's not even the percentages, it's just how do we want to deal with our employees so that it's equitable. But to bring people in, rice them for performance issues, and then give them 1.5%,
Yeah, why should they change?
I mean, I don't see it,
You've got.
I got what everybody else
You a
got,
point,
you know?
Yeah.
I'm getting 1.5% anyway.
I think our big,
Yeah, isn't that?
but Bob, I think the biggest issue we have is, I was always taught, in the private world, document, and you need to build
Right.
files. We need to have personnel files, and that was something we've been lacking in Borough Hall for a lot of years. And I think with Mr. Tovo here, he's been able to, start looking at when we do rice people and putting stuff into the documents and putting people into personnel files, which we haven't done for years, Mr. Cumming, and I think that's one of the issues. And I think people are starting to understand that it's not a,
And remember, document both good and
you
bad.
document good and bad, yes.
I
It's
know,
not always
I know,
bad.
That's
It's
what I
not-
say,
yeah.
you got here and you getting your feet on the ground to the point where things can come under control. But it's a big,
Like, look at all the
it's a
kudos.
big little world, and there's a lot to handle. And I'm sure next year we'll have,
Like, I think all the
Reviews.
DMF workers should have a nice kudos from the former mayor, previous mayor, not Mrs. Sopowitz, Mr. Devine, that they did the best job in 48 years of his living in Township. And I think that was a good, I hope it was sent to the DMF director and everybody like we asked. So I appreciate that. And so it's not always bad, it's good, when we have that. And, so for planning department secretary salary, are we okay with the 8536, gentlemen, or?
The number is, not that I'm indifferent to it, it's fine, but what's the strategy here? Because planning and zoning have been historically a challenge, and with staffing the department, And is the secretary's salary, the meeting fee, the extra hours, is this one person, is this multiple people? Is this, do we have a strategy to catch up on the minutes? Because I believe at one point, we were like literally years behind, if I'm not mistaken.
Sue, where are we on the minutes and those?
Yeah, we're still on.
Are we still behind?
Yeah.
She is, she was beginning to work on some of them last week, because being one person, being new, not having experience, it's been a challenge for her to be dropped in and learn on the job.
But Mike, it is one person
But
for both
it's
zoning and
one person to
planning.
do everything.
And she's getting help right now to get caught up.
Okay.
But I did want to flag the,
Weren't we going to hire some firm in Georgia to help her with the minutes?
We were gonna fan out the audio tapes, but it
Yes.
didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it fell apart.
It's not a viable option, or is it a
It
viable
could be
option?
resurrected, but we hired Barbara, hired the person full-time, and that was.
But I think we have a legal responsibility to the township residents to have these minutes available. And I think that's a legal binding
Can
thing.
follow up if you
Mr.
would like.
Tovo, you were going to say?
I was going to say that I flagged 180, 120, just because my notes were not clear on the increase there, so I will get back to you on that.
On 120, so we're going to flag that one. Now, Mr. Tovo, getting back to these, subbing these minutes out to, I believe it was some
Yeah,
service in Georgia. Can we look at the cost?
Absolutely.
Because I know there is a statute on when minutes are supposed to be published, and years is unacceptable.
And I apologize, I was not.
I know you're not aware of this.
So we need to correct that.
So, I mean, if we could get the cost to get this done and get the new person some help, so at least she's not drowning as soon as she gets in her new position.
We are redirecting some staff in her direction to help her, and she does have some courses scheduled to bring her up to date in training.
Okay.
I mean, look how long it took us to get the council. Not that it took long. I mean, they did a great job, but, you know.
Oh, it took a long- yeah.
sitting there
Wait
day
till you
in,
see
day
what you
out.
get this week from me.
Yeah, but, you know, the gentleman that was here, I forget his name. He was part.
Vince?
Vince.
Vince, right. So he was trying to catch up.
He was trying to catch up,
On the
yeah.
current meetings.
Correct.
He said he had no time to even look at the past.
Correct, he was just doing what he had in front of him,
So
yeah.
this is way, yeah, I mean, way years.
So, Mr. Tovo, if you could look into I believe it was some firm that did it, they listed, like Mr.
It
Bruno
was a
saying.
private person.
Okay, Planning Board Department, 901-21-180-210, 150 requested for office supplies, 150 budgeted. Is this going to be one of the central office supply numbers that we want to eliminate?
What page?
Page 19.
19, right at the bottom, under office
Just to
supplies.
clarify, so there's no misunderstanding, there'll be one central line item for purchasing office equipment, but every office will still maintain their own.
Okay. So we okay with the 150?
Yes.
All right, moving on. Planning Department, board subscriptions, books, zeros, requested zeros for 240. Planning Department, board dues, meetings, and conferences, 185 requested, 185 budgeted. Is that okay with everybody?
That's what we spent.
Yeah, 250, line 250, yeah. Planning Department, board, legal services,
Just, I'm sorry.
oh, go.
There's an actual, it hasn't, I don't know if that, because it's opened, it's not reflected in the actual?
You mean 2018?
Yes.
No, what that means, there was nothing budgeted and somebody charged something to that.
So,
What shouldn't have been.
okay, I mean, maybe we could look at it, page 39.
Sure, if you want. I mean, the transfer could have been made.
It had to be a transfer.
The second line down. And that's the second,
I'm sorry, what, 39 you say?
page 39.
What account we're looking at again?
It is the second one down, 250, dash 250.
Yep. Right, so we didn't budget, but we spent money, right? That's what you're saying?
No. There probably wasn't nothing to control at the time.
And
Well, you have to look at
That's for the memberships and the dues?
no, the flowers.
18250, right? 18250,
Oh,
And that's,
yeah.
that amount, I don't know if it was split across two departments, but there's a charge in the mayor's line for this, I believe. So I don't know if we sent them from two different departments, but it's there twice.
This is saying that it's open, so I wondered if maybe it was all paid from the mayor's and this was just left open. See what it says also?
Yes.
Yeah, so that could have been.
See, I recall, I think it was all paid from the mayor's account.
Okay, I'll check it.
Can we just check that?
Check it.
All right, planning board, board legal services, 8,500 requested, 8,500 budgeted. Is everybody okay with that?
I think that's going to be a good number.
I think it's a drop in the bucket.
I think there's nothing there.
I
that's
think you
gonna
might be
a lot.
right.
So is this, because I'm looking at the actuals that are here, is this just for the attorney who sits on the board, or is this for litigation?
Just with the attorney that sits at the meetings.
So isn't that fixed? At-
There's more than one now.
Yeah, there's two now, right?
Yeah, there's Mr. Bell and Mr. Lematine.
But I guess my question is, they meet twice a month, there's 24 meetings a year, they get how much a...
Well, they get a meeting charge, and then he gets an hourly rate probably to prepare his letters and everything, his resolutions and all that, Mike. So that's extra on top of the meeting charge.
Okay.
So like, if he's got to prepare a resolution, he does that at his office, brings it to the meeting, he gets paid for that.
For that.
Or he bills escrow to that, technically, some of it, and some of it gets billed to us.
I mean, this target is moving, as we all know. So the time this is put together, other things have come to light, so we
Agreed.
might want to consider an increase.
So I'm fine increasing it if we think, if this covers both aspects of Mr. Lamantina or any other attorney. If it's just to sit on the dais and it's a meeting fee, we should know what that is approximately. If it's for litigation, then we probably should increase it.
I guess here's the wild card. You know, looking at where it stands right now, I don't know where the majority of the litigation responsibility is going to land. Is it going to be on planning, or is it going to be on council?
Well, I think this 500 from one, well, this, if you say it says meetings, right? 500. When I was on planning board a long time ago, when I was secretary there, they used to get paid about $500 for a resolution. So that's saying for meetings, so maybe he's charging 500 a meeting and then 750 for planning board. You see where he says he has 1,000?
Looks like he's charging $250 a meeting. He has two meetings for 500.
I
So it
think
looks
it's
like
$250, I think it's
$250
$250 a meeting, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're all right, Mr. Cassia.
But then the first one, he has 1,000, so is that 5 meetings?
Is that a salary ordinance guy or no?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a rate in
What's
there.
the ordinance say? Who is this? Who are we looking at?
Planning board, legal services, board attorney. Yeah, 1,000 would be 4 meetings, if it's 250, yeah, so.
Well, but I guess everyone's point and Bob's point, you know, if it's 250 a meeting, we know it's 6,000.
Right.
But
That's what it is.
Well, they've already had extra meetings, that's why it's above, because they had, they had all the special meetings, right, Bob?
Yes. I don't recall how many they had though. I don't sit on the board.
Yeah, you had a bunch of special meetings, right?
Yes. We have multiple attorneys, we have multiple concerns, we have a lot of questions raised in 30-page letters from outside attorneys
So
that
let's
have to be answered.
let's have Ken and Lou. Can Ken and Lou opine on this?
No, it's Alan Bell.
It's Alan Bell for
Ken and
one
Alan?
of the matters.
Does Lou not show up anymore? Not that he doesn't show up, but Alan is running
You'd
the
have to ask
meetings?
Mr. Cumming, I don't know.
I'm sorry, what?
Is Mr. Bell running all meetings now and
Mr. Bell is the special attorney, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, I understand your question now. Mr. Bell is the special attorney handling the Viviano matter.
Yes,
Mr. Lamattina handles all other matters
okay.
that normally come before the board.
But he shows up at all the meetings, Mr.
But to your
Lamartina still,
point-
and then leaves
Yes.
when
Mr.
the...
Lamattina doesn't
So
come
they
to
need
the
to-
ones that are just
Viviano,
Viviano.
okay.
Okay,
And according to the resolution, it's $250 per meeting for attendance and preparation thereafter, but exclusive of applicant-related work outside of meetings, which will be paid at a rate of $135 an hour from escrow funds upon approval of voucher from Mr. Lamattina.
so I would suggest we flag this and ask Mr.
Yep.
Poller,
Agreed.
Lamatino,
Okay.
Bell, et al.
So we'll flag item 260, gentlemen. Planning Board Department, Board Legal Advertising, 90121-180-310, 200 requested, 200 budgeted. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Planning Department Board Consulting Non-Legal, 901-21180-320, 9,000 requested, 9,000 budgeted. Are we okay with that?
Definitely not.
There's something going on there.
Well, I guess my question is, what is this? Because the planning board, TNM and Associates, has already charged us $7,500 for the master plan reexamination. That's page 39.
Right.
So what's the 9,000? And do we know, is it the reexamination, or is there other items in that number?
Well, I just want to understand why it's increasing from 16, which was, well, 15 was nothing, 14 was nothing. We went to 9, or, I'm sorry, the actual spent was $1,000, and in 17, it was almost 4, and in 18, it was 7.5.
I think-
Now we're up to 9, what's the?
Well, the 7.5 was the master plan readout.
That I can understand, the master plan.
So I-
But that number should not be,
So I think in 16, it was contemplated that the reexamination would occur,
right,
and then all the COA came in. So I
Right.
don't think we charged anything.
right.
And I think that storyline has moved forward, but last year, when we had 9,000,
We did the
We
master
did the
plan.
master plan.
and I
Do
don't
we have the
know,
master plan yet, Mr. Toba?
I haven't seen a new one.
Can you ask where it is, since we've paid them and it's not here?
so I don't know if that's like for half the work, or,
That's what I'm saying, maybe it's not, I don't know, I don't remember what the total cost was for the master plan.
So why don't we flag this one as well and get
Okay.
those answers for council?
What's that?
That was the invoice, 7,500.
Was that total, Bob? Was that
That
for
was,
the,
that was the quote.
so if we paid them 100%, we should have the new master plan and it should have been adopted then. So
But
we
that's
feel-
still open also.
Correct, it's still open, that's why I'm saying if we paid them, it should be here.
no, it's
Okay.
truly open.
No, it's not paid.
Oh, it's not paid?
No.
But is that's reflected in that 7,600, correct?
Right, mhm.
Okay,
So it's encumbered?
yes.
Is that the right
It was
term?
encumbered in August, so does that mean
Means that, we encumbered it.
we encumbered, it's not paid, so is it done? Where
But
does
you
it
said
stand?
we can't encumber unless we have an invoice, right? Because I asked that about the payroll services.
Well,
So that means we got an invoice.
Yes.
And we encumbered it, and
We didn't pay it yet.
who knows what happened to it.
Can we review that, Bob? and-
Do they usually send out an invoice before the product is done?
I can't answer that, I can't speak for that.
Well, let me say, in general, in
No.
your experience.
No.
Thank you. Because you would never send out an invoice unless you know what the cost was.
But, we
And the
also,
project is done.
we also paid $486.50 to Azalina for a walkway to Oratani parking lot, which was predominantly for the seniors, right? So
Yes.
Did we ever get a walkway, a parking lot? Did we ever do anything?
I think that was reversed, Bob.
It came out?
Yeah, a little lower down. There's a whole bunch of, basically that whole
Yeah, it was out.
first, there's ins and outs.
So did it go somewhere else, or we just? It was on a check, we paid the check, so it just was taken out and went somewhere. The point is, we paid $486 for a walkway to Oratani
they
parking lot.
deleted it one and put it back in.
We never got a walkway.
Delete it down here.
They put in deleted after.
Well, that was for this conceptual sketch, I would believe, Bob. $480 isn't gonna buy you much.
I'm just saying.
No, we didn't build a walkway, no, we didn't do any capital projects to build a walkway, so.
You see all these things that we're paying for, I never see an end product. And I know the council doesn't have to see the end product, but if I'm paying for a conceptual plan on a walkway.
I'd like to
It
see
would
it.
be nice that the council gets to see what we're spending the taxpayers' money on. And I think that's half the problem here. Because we are spending money, and we never see where that project is. We never know. I mean, and then what happens over time, and I'll be honest with you, I forget about it. Because we never know where it goes. We budget the money, it gets paid, and the first time we're looking at it, this becomes a great refresher for us, what we did in years past, is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's not the way it should be. If something comes through the desk and we get a plan or a project, it would be nice if the administration,
Well, I think our new engineer is going to attend one council meeting a month, correct, Mr. Tova?
and this is no reflection on Mr. Tovo, but in the past, it would come to the administration.
And sit there.
And it would sit there, and we'd never know where it is.
Correct.
And that's an issue. Again, this is a great reminder, oh, we did spend this. You know, I'm looking at Gardner. I'm also thinking of now the Martini Park. We have drawings there. Where was that project? Don't know, it's just in the
The
ether.
bocce ball court.
Bocce ball
All
courts.
that stuff.
Didn't know about it, did you?
Not too clear.
Not too clear. So I know, I saw some rendition, but I don't
Sorry.
know where,
Still not clear.
I don't know where it is on the grand scheme of things. Is it something that we have a plan for, but we're just not doing it? We have, again, grants that we had funded, and
You're right.
that money's sitting out there. We have to know where these things are. If we're spending the money, it's beholden on us to keep track of what's going on.
All right, Mr. Tova, can you get some more information on 320, please?
Will do.
370, planning board.
Can I just ask one question? Again, I don't have the financials, but there was money in the reserves for tax evaluation and revaluation that got tucked away somewhere. So can you look at that, see if we
I
can
ran
use
all
that?
of the reserve accounts.
There was a
You're
tax
saying-
evaluation, a
There
tax
was money
revaluation.
in reserve facility events.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
public affairs for the events, right?
You talking about the reval back in 2014?
Yeah, there's like 20-something
outside
thousand in there
building.
that nothing ever happened to. It's in the reserves or the escrow?
Then maybe it's in escrow, it's not in the reserves.
It wouldn't be a reserve account.
Yeah, it could be in escrow.
Well, it's sitting there and nothing, it's never been used. So
Okay.
if we're gonna do this tax revaluation and pay
Come from
7,500,
there.
we're
All
going
right,
against
so I'll look at
that.
the escrow, I'll make a note to look.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, it's been there for a long time. It's been there since
2014,
Yeah, there's a bunch of-
we did it? I think we did the reval.
I don't, no one was ever really able to say why the money was there, but there's money there. So if we can look at it, we can use it.
Well, we budgeted X amount, and I think we didn't use it all.
Well, it might have been raised in the current budget throughout the years and
No,
then
but
moved
that would have gone
over.
into surplus.
It could have been, I don't know.
This is some of it.
Yeah, but you
Something
could
else.
raise it in the current budget and then move it
Okay.
over to a trust item.
All right, let's move on.
No.
Planning board, department, board training, 901, 21, 180, 370, 1,000 budgeted, 1,000 requested. Is everybody okay with that? 370.
180, 370?
Yeah, 180, 370. Are we okay with that? For training? Okay. Zoning office, board secretary, 901, 21, 185, 110, 8536, and 8536. This is for the zoning board now, so we okay with that, gentlemen?
So,
So we,
Do you want to say that for the race or?
Oh, we're gonna, okay, because this is the same person as the planning board, yes.
and is this a new person?
Not new to me, but new to here.
No,
New to you, okay. So my question would be, again, the 1.5% on this number is not breaking us, but should we be planning for a raise for someone who's a new hire? That's my only question.
Point taken. She was hired last year and so, oh yeah, she still knows, still in the first 12 months.
Okay.
Zoning office, the zoning officer, 901, 21, 185, 120, 7109 requested, 7109 budgeted. It's 7100 budgeted. Are we, is that a typo?
7109. That should be, it's typo.
That's a typo, okay. So gentlemen, 7109 requested, 7109 budgeted is a typo, so are we okay with that?
Should we discuss this when we do all the salaries or?
I think it's a standard, if we okay with it, we're okay with it.
185, 120?
185, 120, Bob.
and the increase is more hours, or we just,
Well, last year's amount was, so
7,004, and
this
now we're,
reflects a 1.5% on the position, which is now assumed by somebody new.
Is the zoning officer in 120 and the code enforcement official in 130?
yes, the same person.
They're the same person?
They are now, as of January 1st.
And they also exist in another budget line?
Correct.
They do. He does.
Okay, so,
That's why we were going to get a chart. Yes?
Yes, Bob was going to create a chart.
it gets very confusing when you have one
But are we
person
okay with
split
the-
up in three ways.
I guess the main question, are we okay with the dollar wise?
I'm sorry, Mike?
yeah, not only is it confusing if they're in two different departments, but if one person is in the same department and has two titles
3 titles.
in zoning?
Yeah, because the other one is, oh, no, the other one's recreation. Yeah, I'm
Recreation.
sorry, I take it back.
I was like,
So, excuse me, that's 7109 though is the correct
Therefore, it's
number?
even more confusing.
Yeah, it's more confusing, yes. We okay with the 7109, gentlemen?
I am not, and it's not that the person does or does not. Again, I would like to understand holistically what this person is, because, so when again, I'm trying to apply some private sector understanding. So I had a job. The guy who sat in the cube next to me got fired, and my boss told me, you have his responsibility. They didn't give me his salary because there's no savings. And I'm not saying that we did this to save money. I'm just saying if a person has 15 jobs for $10,000, it doesn't look bad, but if you're paying someone $150,000, then it may be. So I really, again, if I'm wrong, just tell me to shut up and I'll get off this soapbox. But I think we really need to understand what a holistic view of all the people and what their compensation is. Because really, we're increasing it by 1.3%, but we're cutting them by 5% on the next line. So what does 1.37 saying okay? I mean, I'm fine with these numbers, but I really, again, going back to that, the first item on this
We want to see the
request.
chart with everybody's,
It becomes extremely confusing over time.
Yeah, I think when you see the chart, it will make a lot more sense, because that total salary is more reflective of what these positions should equal out to be.
Yes.
so we okay with the 7109, gentlemen?
I'm not sure you're not cutting them either, Mike. You're bringing them from 85 to 9,000, so it's getting 500. Somebody is anyway.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Zoning officer, code enforcement official, 901-21185-130, 9,000 requested, 9,000 budgeted. It's a reduction from the total amount appropriated last year. Are we okay with that?
I am not.
This is just zoning, not code.
No, this one's code enforcement.
This is 1/3 of that person.
Yeah, it's 1/3 of the person.
Not sure
So
what
this
third
was
it is.
a whole conversation we had about duties and responsibilities, so, which I'd like to talk about, but I can't because we have to write them, but it's more so duties and responsibilities.
I don't think you should
No.
go
We
there.
don't know where it's going to go, so I recommend we wait until we write them.
Okay.
Yeah,
So moving on to zoning board secretary meeting fees.
So that's flagged.
so we're
Yeah,
gonna hold
it's
that one, we're
flagged.
gonna flag that one.
130 is flagged, and so it's 120 and 110. Zoning board secretary meeting fees, 901-21185-140, 850 requested, 850 budgeted. We spent a lot of money there last
Do we
year.
know what the per fee is?
Well, last year, we brought in somebody more per diem to cover that spot.
Oh, okay, so we had per diem people.
Do you know what the per meeting fee is?
Sue, do we know what the per meeting fee is for zoning board?
I think 200,
Looks like 250.
200 or 250?
That's what we pay, 250, 250, 250, 250.
So that doesn't even cover, it doesn't even cover 4
Legal
meetings.
services of 750.
And
All
it's
the
the same
meetings
for,
are
it's the
250.
same.
I thought it was
Are you talking
75.
about the secretary?
Yes.
That's the meeting fee.
75.
It's a meeting fee.
75 is the meeting fee? Bob's saying it's
No,
250.
no.
That's what we pay.
75, right, Jim?
Let's go back to the videotape.
Should be 75.
Yeah, but that was last year, because the per diem, that's what the guy that was filling in got, yes. But the new person gets 75 per meeting.
75.
And then what is this title here? So we can find it.
Zoning board
It's for the
secretary meeting
secretary
fees.
to attend the meeting.
Yeah, but then at year end,
What number are you looking
Yeah,
at?
but last year, like Bob was saying, we had a fill-in, we had a bunch of people filling in at different rates.
185, 140,
But it's 75.
I think.
I think it was
The meeting fee is
primarily one,
75
but it was
a
at a
meeting.
premium,
Yes.
so.
yes.
And
But-
200 a meeting for preparation of minutes. And that's what this says. Meeting fee and preparation of minutes, 200. Meeting fee only is 75.
And then last year, in December, on the last day of the year, we put through a $4,000 charge in meeting fees.
What page?
On the actuals, page 42.
I think that's because that was, we would have fill-ins, I believe, right?
Is that when we got
And then we didn't have like a
billed?
regular person, I believe, right?
I think he was billing as though he was a vendor, right?
Makes sense.
So W-2, I mean, the 1099?
It should be.
I'm trying to have payroll, but then again, I don't have the specific.
All right, according to last year's salary ordinance, that's what you want to go by. Planning and zoning board secretary, officer hours, 20 hours per week was one total, a grand total. The meeting fee attendance only was $75 a meeting. Then we had a meeting fee and preparation of minutes was $200 a meeting.
But how does that apply now? If you have a full-time person, they're going to
I
get
don't see why
75
we
for
either.
a meeting and 75 for planning and a meeting, I mean, minutes and a meeting?
Well, $200 for minutes a meeting and $75 for me, that's how it's.
That's what I'm saying, so that needs
So
to
it's
be changed.
275?
That needs to be changed.
Yeah.
You can't, if you have a full-time person, they can't have a meeting fee of 75 and then a meeting and preparation of minutes. Preparation of minutes is a part of the job, I mean, I would think,
Could be.
right? So
All right, we'll have to
think
review that. Okay,
Has to be
let's flag that. Okay, zoning office, office supplies, 901-211-85-210, 200 requested, 200 budgeted. Are we okay with that? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Next line item for postage, can we eliminate that line? Oh, no, we
No, you
can't,
can't.
it's 25, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's 0, we're okay with that. Subscription and books, 901-211-85-240, 100 requested, 100 budgeted. Are we okay with that, gentlemen?
Yes.
Zoning office dues, meetings, and conferences, 901-211-85-250, 250 requested, 250 budgeted. Are we okay with that? Zoning office board legal services, 3,000 requested, 3,000 budgeted for 260. Are we okay with that?
Can we just back up to dues meetings? So there's someone registered for the League of Municipality, but that's all that was charged. So is that, I'm assuming it's not in what is it, recreation, although I didn't look. So if
No, that was for the zoning officer.
Right.
Yes, so we didn't pay for anything else?
No, there was other arrangements made that we didn't have to pay for, the hotel.
So in the future state, do you think those other arrangements may still apply?
I don't know, good point, good point. I don't know.
I think we
Well,
either,
does our ordinance say he needs to go to League of Municipalities?
Well, he's gonna need CEUs for his zoning.
Okay.
I mean, I think, not that we have an issue, I think it's something that is becoming more, people are recognizing more and more. We talk about it at our council meetings. So if the person holding this is going to go to League of
We
Municipalities,
need to add more money.
we should fund it. And if he needs more subscriptions and books, I mean, to keep his currency, then I think we should. So I would propose we increase zoning line 250 to, was it like 1,200 a person all in, less?
No, you're
What?
talking $55 registration, and I think we have a maximum of $300 for rooms. So
So
then whatever you want to do on top of that. So if you raise that,
make it, I propose
600?
750, I propose,
So you want to make item 250, $750, Mike?
yes.
Is everybody okay with that, gentlemen? Mr. Bruno, Mr. Cassiano? Mr. Cumming?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As Steve says.
Yeah, again, if we're going to, charge the taxpayers the money, we better spend it.
Okay. Zoning office board consulting fees, 265, 0 requested, 0 budgeted. Zoning office board legal advertising, 901-211-85-310, 100 requested, 100 budgeted. Are you okay with that?
So 5,000.
I'm sorry, did you do legal services?
He did
you
not.
do-
Yeah, legal service.
Oh, I'm sorry, I checked it, I'm sorry, we went back, I was on it and we went back. Thank you,
Sorry.
Mr. Cumming. So 901-21185-260, zoning office, board, legal services, 3,000 requested, 3,000 budgeted. Are we okay with that, gentlemen?
So that's 250 a meeting times 12.
Yep,
Is,
3,000.
okay, yes.
Okay.
Good? Okay, so last one I had is 310, 100 requested, 100 budgeted for legal advertising. Are we okay with that?
This is going to be, the potential litigation is a planning issue
It's
or
a
a
mayor
zoning
and
issue?
council, it's a mayor and council and planning issue.
It's not a zoning issue?
No.
Okay,
Not yet.
okay.
Zoning office board training, 901-21185-370, 500 requested, 500 budgeted. Are we okay with that?
Will we anticipate having at least one new member, right?
Yeah, there's some that need to get taken care of that I think are, I don't know if they're all registered for the spring class or not.
Do you know how much those classes are? Sue, off the top
About
of your head, have you?
$135, $140?
The MLUL and
Yes.
guidebook bundle,
Yes.
that's 150.
So we're good for 3.
Thank you.
Great,
Okay. I'm
we're
okay
fine,
with
we're
it.
okay with that, right?
What's the NJPO mandatory training?
That's the one in
That's the
parameters,
one.
that.
Planning official.
But is that for,
Planning and zoning
Members?
officials.
Official, right,
Yeah,
so that was 500 or
but that was
400
probably
last year.
multiple people, right, or just one? Does it tell you?
It doesn't say, but I'm just wondering, is that for the person holding the zoning?
No, it's for the members. You have,
Okay.
as a board member, you have to go, yeah.
Yeah, and it's
You
a
can't sit on
one-time
the
deal.
dais
So
until you
right
have
now, we're
your,
just anticipating one new member.
yes.
You
Which
can
we
sit
know
on the dais, but
we
during
are
the
gonna
first
have at
year,
least
you
two.
have
You got to get certified,
to-
yeah.
Yeah,
How's that?
Well, we're looking at one.
Right?
No one rolls off during the year?
No,
That will
not,
be till the end of the year.
not till the end of the year.
Okay.
Well, we'll have to discuss it, but both people want to resign now. Mr. LaGrada is interested in becoming a member also, so we have two resignations coming, which would mean we'd have to either have one of them reapply as the
And you're still
alternate,
gonna need another one,
and you're
yeah.
still gonna need another alternate.
Okay.
But neither one, as of today, has submitted their resignation. So right now, the only applicant we have is Mr. Moore.
So we can't sit on it forever.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be soon.
We're coming up.
where it's
Okay.
got to be filled.
By Monday, we need resignations, or Mr. Moore will be appointed, is what I would think. 901-21185-470, 250 requested, 250 budgeted. New land use pamphlets for the boards.
Okay.
No, it's based on a quote.
That was a quote?
Yeah, and that's how much it was, Bob? Why does that sound low?
Because there's really not, we're not required to buy many of them. I think it's about a
That's
dozen.
why. Just sounds low.
15, 930. Okay.
I'm just
Because ones we have are
I'm
from like the year
done, too.
2007.
What time?
9 o'clock, but my wife is capable of doing it.
Gentlemen, what time do we want to set? 9 o'clock drop dead date for this, or is that all right? Whatever it is?
Make it 9:15 if you want to work till 9:15 or 9:30. I'm good. I don't know, what do you
works,
guys
Art?
think?
What works for you?
I don't have a transportation problem. My wife is going to take care of the pickup.
So 9:30, gentlemen, we'll stop?
My son works.
Is that good?
nights. I'm sorry,
It's been a long day for all of us, I'm sure.
but you guys work.
9:30.
You guys work. I'm
I
retired.
haven't looked at numbers for 8 hours before I got here.
Yeah.
Only? Really?
We're okay with 470 for printing?
God bless.
Yeah.
Uniform Construction Code, UCC official, 901-22-195-110, 28,387 requested, 28,387 budgeted.
That's the 1.5, right?
Can I ask a question about this, Mr. Tolo? Can we get some more information on this? Is this for him to be here one day a week for our residents? Or
Actually-
1 hour a day for our residents during lunch?
Correct.
Can we,
Why I was gonna ask
can
if
we table this? I'd like to discuss going out and possibly,
Can we,
I can't
Rice
talk about
time.
it. Yeah, rice time.
from
All right.
195, 110 to 195, 187, can we table all those?
Sure.
110 to where, 187?
All the way through
So the whole.
the whole department?
All the salaries there, yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Did I elucidate on the salaries that were commonplace last year because I came from that environment? and these people get $40 an hour plus a stipend.
But we shouldn't talk about it until we rise.
I'm just saying what's common in the industry in North
Oh,
Jersey.
you're not,
There you go.
we're not talking about it, we're talking about a position. So the going rate is 40 plus.
40 plus a stipend, and it may be plus.
Okay, thank you. Uniform Construction Code Office Supplies, $750 requested, $750 budgeted for item 210 at the bottom of page 23. Are we okay with that, gentlemen?
Yep, it's a decrease. I like decrease.
I'm sorry, I missed 189, 90122 195 189, Uniform Construction Code, COC inspections, 12,000 requested, 12,000 budgeted. Do our CCOs self-fund this line item, Mr. Tobo? They do, okay.
It's a wash.
Okay. Everybody okay with that? Uniform Construction Code, subscription to books, 1,200 requested, 1,000 budgeted. Are we okay with the mayor's recommendation of 1,000?
Why is it,
Is that a typo,
The
or?
UCC books are very expensive.
Well, the mayor cut their request down by 200, so.
But I'm just saying, in the past, one year we spent 13, then we spent 3, last year we spent
The new
0.
codes are issued every 3 years.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That
And
explains
they're
that.
staggered because the plumbing code is 1 year and the
Okay.
NEC is another year, and then the UCC, the uniform.
So
Huge
every year
notebooks.
they stagger it, so you
They
have.
stagger it
Okay.
with the releases so that it's not consistent.
Well, we didn't buy any releases last year, which is good, so.
Thank you, Mr. Cumming, for the explanation.
Are we okay with the 1,000 requested by the mayor? Or budgeted by the mayor?
It may be sufficient.
Uniform Construction Code dues and meetings, 200 requested, 200 budgeted.
The meetings are minimal, they're like quarterly, and it's a luncheon meeting.
No one goes?
Nobody goes, because we've spent $0 on them.
Well,
You know what?
that's going to change with first hour being, so she's taking her class. We started last week. When she has her class under her belt, we would like, at minimum, at least her, to start going to these meetings.
Okay, so 200 is okay,
I
gentlemen?
believe so.
She's gonna go?
She
All
will
right.
be instructed to go.
Uniform Construction Code mileage stipend, 750 requested, 750 budgeted. Are we okay with that, gentlemen? Uniform Construction Code furniture and
I do have
equipment.
one question about that. I mean, I don't know if that's what it should be, but I think the assessor's assistant was getting 300, and I think
Judy?
everyone gets 600. I'm sorry.
Louder.
The assessor was getting 300, and everyone else gets 600. So is he standard at 750? I'm just curious.
Well, it's been 750
So
for a while, so I don't know if that's standard or not, but that's what they've gone.
Is he in here somewhere?
Salary ordinance, I doubt it, because he's not.
Well, mine said might be in there.
This official, is this in his own car?
It is, yes.
You mentioned that there is someone in the department now where it's being trained.
Correct.
So where would we see miles for them if they're taking their personal car, if they're going to go to meetings, if they're going to the league?
I'm glad you bring that up. We had that discussion today. The answer is that it wouldn't necessarily reflect in the budget. There's no line item for mileage for other employees. We felt one way to tackle this was when we assign somebody to attend a school, they have to ask for mileage prior to attending, and we budget that along with the cost of the training.
Okay.
So there's a correction that has to be made going forward. It wasn't captured in the past.
What about using a town car?
Well, we're working on that too. When we get to the Capitol, and we fully explain the rationale behind some of those expenses, one of them would be to repurpose a police vehicle for town employee use.
Like we we spray painted the old police car, which is ridiculous. It looks
I mean,
horrendous.
the Explorer?
Yeah, no, the
The sedan.
Black and white.
sedan,
Can we change
The Crown Vic.
the Crown Vic.
Crown
And
Vic,
it doesn't run?
Oh, it doesn't run,
the
okay.
one that used to run.
Yeah, commit suicide.
When can we get rid of it?
So we
'Cause it's
painted
a-
that?
Yeah, it's got spray painted, somebody spray painted the police logos off. I mean, it looks hideous.
Why can't we send it to Midas for $250?
We're going to hold an auction in the spring and get rid of all the equipment. and
Including
vehicles.
the other bus?
Yes.
Great idea.
All right. Moving on, construction code, furniture and...
Is it okay, or-
No, I might be a player on that
You know, I don't
bus.
see anything
Wait a minute.
here
Big Uber truck.
Why don't you buy it now?
for that.
We'll put it in the budget, it's revenue.
Everyone here, Sue? She said she
I did
doesn't
not.
see-
I don't see
she doesn't
anything in here for
anything
mileage
About mileage.
in the ordinance.
Okay, flag, let's
No, I
check.
didn't see it either. But I'm not sure,
So what are
there's
we-
a bunch
what are we
of
flagging?
titles
Sorry.
here, so I don't know.
For mileage stipend?
195, 300.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it under
That's-
I'm sorry.
UCC and it's under
280,
mileage.
280 is flagged.
Oh,
'cause
280,
That's for the
yes.
construction code
For
official.
more
There's
explanation.
no title for that here, so unless he's somewhere else.
Uniform construction code, furniture and equipment, 90122-195-300, 750 requested, 750 budgeted. Everybody okay with that?
And then we need a couple of filing cabinets, that's the reason for the cost.
Excellent,
Uniform construction code training, 90122-195-370, 1,000 requested, 1,000 budgeted. Everybody
Half of
okay?
that's already been spent for the course that we discussed earlier, and if we hire a second TA part-time, that would eat up the remainder.
Okay.
Hey, Bob, what was the law firm of buying all our stuff from?
Oh, good question. Spinella,
Just curious.
gentleman I know, his name is Santa Montesimo, he's one of the partners, but his name's not on the letterhead. And we're not buying it, it's being donated.
Yeah, okay.
Spinella, anyone from Atkinson?
Uniform construction code printing, 90122-195-470, 1,000 requested, 750 budgeted. Are we okay with that? The mayor has reduced it by 250 to 750?
Again, based on conversations with the official.
It's okay? Okay.
That's
It
forms in
says
the
building
office.
department forms.
Yes, they have to pay for those in their state.
Uniform construction code miscellaneous, 250 requested, 250 budgeted. Are we okay with that?
That number's all over the place over the years.
Yes.
That's why it's
All right.
miscellaneous.
Uniform construction code software, $2,800 requested, $2,800 budgeted.
That's Roadrunner. It keeps track of the permits.
We don't have it now?
I think we do have
That's a
it.
With
yearly
spatial-
fee, I believe.
I think
Yeah, this is
yes,
for
there's a fee.
spatial data.
Yeah,
Well, we paid nothing and we appropriated zero and we've spent zero on this line item for years.
you refurbish it occasionally,
Oh, okay.
relicense it and so on.
No, this is a yearly fee. If we're
Well, where's
short-
it gone for those yearly
That's-
fees? Because
that's
it's
the
been
next
zero.
line. No. So,
I understand SDL is
Oh,
also on the
spatial
next
data, yeah.
line,
Oh.
but that's an additional user fee,
Fee.
Well, do we have a
which we
contract?
have not needed to use.
Do we have something that says we owe somebody 2,800?
And we do.
Okay.
Where's that 2,800 gone in the
28
past is what I'm worried about.
We can go back and check the history, but obviously it's not been charged to where it should have been charged.
All right.
You can pull the vendor history and see what we paid and charged, that's all.
All right, 820 is okay. 830, Uniform Construction Code SDL, 1,000 requested, 1,000 budgeted. Are we okay with that? Liability insurance, 90123210000, 176,000 requested, 176,000 budgeted.
Contractual?
is that one of the, did we get that bill? Is that one of the bills?
Remember, yeah, it is, but it's a breakdown, so we have to do the math ourselves.
Okay.
You know, when we start reclassing this stuff, you know, I'm just looking at it page by page, and, you know, I see, going back to line 820, that there was nothing spent, and now we got a $2,800 charge. I understand.
Where'd that,
you're saying
that's what I'm saying, where'd that
was somewhere
2,800 go?
else.
And
Yeah.
we're holding
So-
on to that. We're not flagging that one until you have information?
No,
No,
that's
not going to
good.
play
No,
with
it's
people,
good.
but my question is, you know, it's very, again, awkward when you're going through this and you see a huge increase and there's nothing, but it's really somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm
when
going
you
to pull
reclass
that,
it.
but I
So-
think also part of that was a mobile application, right? I believe that they discussed that.
I mean, the additional 1,000 might be the mobile,
My wife
Right.
does.
or no,
Right, right.
so no
We're
license.
still gonna stop it, we're still gonna stop at 9:30.
Well, yeah, no, I think a vendor.
No, no, we're all-
A vendor
Yeah, I'm
report
retired.
would be a good idea.
I can sleep
Maybe
in.
see where everything is.
But I do believe part of that is new because they were offering that to different towns where you now would have this road run application on your phone or on your tablet. And
The
it's pretty
2,800 is
costly.
a contractual amount.
It
We
is.
owe it, we just don't know where we spent it before, so you just have to track it down. Somebody else has probably overstated. But you-
Workman's comp insurance, 90123215000, 186,500 requested, 186. Is that a typo, Mr. Tovo? Or why is it $500 short?
Typo.
So 186,500 budgeted.
That's an actual,
The last column is
It's supposed to be 500 more.
zero, right? So that's a 5?
Yeah, it's a 5.
Have we ever had a workers' comp audit?
We'll have them one this year.
We are.
Do every year.
Because, I mean, we put all these salaries in, we
Every
never
year they
spend
do
it,
it.
so we should get money back by now.
Health,
I've
dental,
never seen that happen before.
Nor have I.
So,
I have.
oh, I have it in
Yeah.
municipalities.
Well, when you submit for workers' comp, you have to say your total payroll, right? So our total payroll was nothing what we ever spent for the last 5 years, right? We say we're gonna spend $6 million, we probably spend 5.5 because we never hire half the people we say we're gonna spend money on. I don't know how you submitted it to workers' comp. I would
No,
assume it's a budget.
The workman comp's, the way it works here is if someone does get hurt, you will get reimbursed on the workman's comp. But when they
No,
come-
I understand
Right.
that, but the premiums are based upon salaries. It's a percentage of your
Right.
salaries. And our
Right.
salaries never met what we budgeted for. So if we have a budgeted salary of $6 million, and we say, here's our workers' comp at $6 million, they give you a rate, and they also go back and look at the history and et cetera.
Right.
But then, at the end of the day, we don't have a $6 million
You think we've
salary.
only been under? Because usually we
Yeah,
had
we don't hire
tight,
anybody.
we usually had tight budgets, yes.
yeah, no, Bob's right.
We've been under.
We've been under, so we should get a refund.
Higher.
Okay,
Because we put everybody in and hire nobody. So
okay,
we have to
alrighty.
be. So just take a look.
I mean, I could
But
definitely
if
guess,
they're gonna do an audit, you'll find out.
I've just never seen towns getting reimbursed. Maybe the towns were more in line.
Health, dental, life and accident, 901-232-0000, 760 budgeted, 760 requested.
And that is going up based on premium
Yes.
increase and number
So
of
this is-
employees.
Yeah.
Per policy? This is a
This-
policy? Policy says somebody owes somebody 760?
Well, it's actually higher than that now since we did this document. We've received a premium update, and now it looks like we're going to be budgeting somewhere in the area of $780,000.
Wow.
But if the premium is 780.
Well, remember, the premium goes up and down every month.
No, I know, but what's the premium based upon our current people right now? And staffing and then buildings, et cetera?
About 780 when you do a deduct for your contribution coming back in.
Coming back in.
It goes back to that line item.
Wow. So this
we
number
went-
is really 780 then, Mr. Toba.
Yes.
So we should be approving 780, not 760.
So what was the percentage increase from?
Is the mayor
the
making that
premium-
recommendation?
the Premium.
But it's an invoice. So,
It's a
yeah.
monthly invoice.
No, but what was the increase? So last year we spent, let's just say it was 610, and now we have an increase of X amount that they're saying, hey, like in any health insurance, dental, you get an increase, 4%, 12%, 10%. What was our increase?
I'll have to ask Joy that.
Okay. Can
Unless you
let us
know, Judy, I don't.
Because that's a big
I don't
increase.
know, but I know it did go up.
Huh?
I know it did go up because we hadn't had an increase.
Okay, but I'm just saying, so we should know how much,
Sense.
you know, they're banging us for. Should be 10, 12, 4, 8%, I don't know. Was it renegotiated? Did we try and get it?
Well, again, if you look at the actuals from years past, in 2014, we had 200,000, we charged
Yeah, we never spent the money.
200,000 more,
Yeah.
another 200,000, another 140,000,
Yep.
another 70 in 17. Last year was close with still overcharging the residents 45,000.
Probably what
So
happened,
there's no way,
probably what happened when that number was projected at that point in time, they probably didn't think about the reimbursement part.
Which is really beneficial.
No, what happened was,
Consider.
first of all, they just used the budget and number and never looked at the premiums, number one. So then we dug our heels in and said, we're gonna pay based upon premium. So our former administrator had all these bills and said, hey, this is what you're paying, so we budgeted. There was some money put in, just in case there was
Yes.
some potential hardships where somebody was gonna come off, like they're on their wives, and they're gonna come off their wives, and they're gonna come on ours, and I think it was well, where, it doesn't matter where it was, but there was some issues. So we said, okay, let's put 2 people, just in case there's hardships and they have to come into this plan. So that's why we spent a little more.
well, yeah,
So
a
it was
little
an
more, but
exact
it wasn't,
number plus.
it wasn't
200,000.
200,000,
No,
no,
140,000.
I agree.
Last year we were close, it was 70, which still.
Put it this way,
was still high.
our 2015 appropriation is still higher than our 2019 actual.
Yes, that's correct. So we're still coming down.
We're still coming down,
We're
Bob.
still coming
This is
down, but still.
surplus.
Yeah.
This was a surplus bill, this was a big surplus.
Again, this is something that we've
So
done in the past, and
we should just look
we're
at what
correcting,
the
thank
percentage
goodness.
increases from the contract, please.
Get that?
But it is a contractual number, so we're gonna have to approve the 780, and the mayor's gonna have to request 780 now versus the
Ask the mayor to
760.
request the 780, I'm gonna flag it until it's requested.
But to Bob's point, when, he was pressing on this and we drove it more towards the actuals, we did provide for, either new hires and/or change in family, going from a single payer to a
Life
married.
event.
So if if it's 780, if it's 760, let's just make sure that covers any potential.
Understood.
Okay, getting to Police Department of Public Safety,
Now, we're skipping,
We're
going
gonna
to
skip
page
that, right?
44.
because that's all,
Department heads will come in and make their
yep,
case.
okay.
What page we going?
We're going to
44.
44.
44, and we're going to start with Community Service Act,
So we're
0126.
skipping this whole thing because I know there's some issues.
The department heads are coming in to do their own presentation, that's why we're
Yep.
skipping some.
Fire Department's coming in, PD's coming in, DMF is coming in,
Recreation's coming in.
Recreation's coming in. So the next one is Community Service Act condos, 901-26-325000. 44. 44.
Oh, I'm sorry. 44?
30,000 budgeted, 30,000 requested. Are we okay with that, gentlemen?
Hold on, let me get to the page. Hold on.
Okay, sorry, 44, what number?
901-26-325000, Community Service Act condos.
So we're paying PSE&G and Suez
Yes.
For the hydrants, yes, and the water mains.
For those condos.
for those condos.
Yep, and the street lights for those
And
condos.
streetlights.
And garbage, right? We probably pick up some of their garbage
It's a
costs.
percentage of
A
the-
percentage of their garbage costs,
Percentage of their garbage.
right?
They're-
There's different
Utilities.
statutes.
Buy garbage.
It's only.
Because it's services that we provide to every resident, they get a portion of, under the condo act.
No.
Oh, not garbage, I'm sorry, yeah.
White goods.
White goods.
They pick up
Okay.
white goods, which
That I
are-
understand.
the
I'm,
town makes money on.
Okay,
At least the town should.
okay, when he said garbage,
No, I wanted to
That's
clarify
white
that
goods.
because I know what I'm paying for. And I'm paying for my garbage.
okay.
so are the rest of us.
Yes, well, just a little differently.
So we okay with that, gentlemen? That's a statutorily set
Yes.
formula, we don't have a say in that.
Well, the actual was 25, why is it 30?
I think the run rate was a little
25,370.
higher.
Rate's gonna go up?
Well, in 2014, look, it was 29,000, Steve, so I guess it must vary depending
How does
on,
it vary? What's
I don't know.
the formula?
Well, their electric rate changes and it's
Changes.
gone down
Water.
significantly. And
Suez.
Water.
Suez
is
always goes
going
up, yeah.
Okay,
Suez is going up.
and that's an actual,
Do we need,
that's an estimate.
You see the
It's an
bills
estimate
when we have
because
our
they-
list of
they
bills
vary.
that we pay.
The question is this, that 30,000, is that an actual or an estimate at this
It's an
point?
it's
estimate.
an
An
estimate?
estimate.
I would say that's an estimate.
Do we have to provide, do we think any Van Emberg or anything is going to come online?
When the condos do come online, we will have to provide more, yes. But we're also
But
gonna
not
get the
this year.
rateable.
But not-
We're also gonna get the rateable, so it's a.
But that's not
win-win,
happening
yeah.
in 2019?
No, sir.
Okay.
We okay with that
And
number,
not till
Joe?
the HOA takes over.
Correct, the homeowners
Right,
association has.
Yeah, the builder owns it at first,
Right.
right?
so on
And
hand.
then the HOA after
We'll be moving out.
75% is sold.
All right, Health Director, 901-27330-150, 1250 requested, 1250 budgeted, are we okay with that?
Yep.
Health Part-Time Secretary and Registrar, 3814 requested, 3814 budgeted, are we okay with that?
Is this someone who operates elsewhere in the building?
It is.
Yes, right.
Waiting for the chart.
Health Secretary meeting fees, 375 requested, 375 budgeted for 170, are we okay with that? Health Office Supplies, 2,200 requested, 2,200 budgeted, what's, 1,900 fireproof cabinet.
Bob, maybe we could take this out this year and put it in for next year?
Well, no, because
What do you think?
it may not be needed in this department, but it will be needed somewhere else.
That's true.
Wait, The cabinet that currently exists has been,
broken, right?
it's been made operational, but we're still short one fireproof
Fire
cabinet.
file,
Yeah, fireproof, we're still
It's
short one.
it's a one-time expense.
like in the garage
You
cabinet.
want to put it off until next year?
So do you need two, or do you need
Well, we need the
one?
fire cabinet, we need the
Right
cabinet.
now, we just need one.
Let's get it.
We okay with the 2,200, gentlemen, for the extra fireproof cabinet that we need?
Yes, I am.
Gotta have it.
Health subscription and books, 150 requested, 200 budgeted. Is that a typo, or is that, we're giving them to match what they
No.
spent this year?
In the discussion, we felt there were other publications that would be beneficial, so.
Okay, are we okay with the 200, gentlemen?
Sure.
Health dues, meetings and conferences, 210 requested, 210 budgeted. It matches this year's, is that okay?
Yes, I
Fine.
think that sounds reasonable.
290 is 0, 310 is 0. Health consulting, non-legal, 35,500 for request, 35,500 for budgeted for 320. Are we okay with that?
That's HARP, or whatever, Bergen.
Right.
The Northwest.
Northwest Bergen,
That's Northwest Bergen Regional
Our health
Health
officer.
Office, right?
Yes.
Health printing, 200 budgeted, 200 requested. Are we okay with that for 470?
Sure.
Cheap.
Health, child health care, $125 budgeted, $125 requested. We okay with that?
Yep.
So, kind of,
And vaccine.
it's not an issue of the dollar amount. Why is the health department, did the health department pay for a banner for Town Day?
yes,
What for?
because there's a table. The health department has a table at the town
Okay.
day. And it was asked if we would get a banner similar to everybody else, so that it brought attention to the table.
It's a one-time charge.
It's a one-time
Okay,
deal.
all right. Sorry.
Health, public health nursing, 901-271-330-690, 800 requested, 800
This is it,
budgeted.
Steve, Harp.
What's that?
This is Harp.
This is for HARP.
Right.
We okay with that, gentlemen? Mm-hmm. Health computer supplies, 525 requested, 525 budgeted. Are we okay with that? Yes?
That's our color printer, isn't it?
No, it's vital statistics or something.
Yes, it's the software for the marriage licenses
That's, yeah.
and the deaths, the vital.
Animal
software.
control officer, 901-273-40000, 11,700 budgeted, 11,700 requested. Is that an actual from Tyco?
That's
Yes.
a contracted number.
Okay.
The number went down.
It went
Yes.
down by a lot.
Really?
All right.
Are we okay with that, gentlemen?
Exclude some animals, or?
I don't know.
Less trees, less squirrels.
So we outsource our health department to
Northwest Bergen.
Northwest Bergen.
They
Are they
do
the
a
only
phenomenal
vendor?
job.
I'm sure they're not, but
No, that's the most reasonable one you're going to get. They're
And you
very,
get
very,
your
very,
best-
Mike, they
very
do a phenomenal
inexpensive.
job. I
They
think
do a
they're,
great job, and they're cheaper than anyone else. You know, if I can get it cheaper, we would.
Not the services you get from them.
No,
They're very
they
good.
do.
they're
do-
very responsive.
good.
They,
Very
They're
responsive.
very good.
Okay.
my neighbor will attest to that.
Mr. President, we're going to stop there and go to page,
Yeah, we're going to skip recreation until we,
correct.
until they
We
show
start
up.
on page 52.
Why are we skipping?
52,
Why
gentlemen,
we
because the
skip?
recreation department's coming to our meeting
So who's
to,
coming Monday? We're gonna have a bunch Monday?
Monday,
have
we
to
have
decide.
Mr. Poller.
Yes.
We've already said that.
No,
We've
but I
said,
mean, that's it? I mean, when are these other guys?
we have a regular meeting, Bob, and then we have Mr. Poller, which will
But
take,
when are these other guys coming?
they'll be in the next schedule, when we set the schedule for the next meetings.
We anticipating setting one prior to Monday?
You want to talk tomorrow?
We'll talk once we get,
Okay.
I guess it's 9 o'clock. Do you guys want,
What page you on now?
52? Parks Building Maintenance, right, Mr. Tony?
Whenever Art's
Correct.
gotta go, we'll go.
No, it's not art.
don't gotta leave.
We said at 9:30, we
Thank
said
you.
9:30 was,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
just bang it out.
I'm the retired guy.
Parks Building Maintenance,
Sounds nice.
901-2837420, 15,000 requested, 15,000 budgeted. What is this
Oh,
for?
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Tony?
what page you on, Michael?
52, line 420 at the top of the page.
For both building maintenance and park and field maintenance, we got caught up on a lot the latter part of this year, so I think I'm comfortable with a slight reduction there. I mean, a lot of little things were just never done, like fire hydrants and, fire extinguishers and upgrading fire systems, so we are pretty much where we need to be.
The elevator's been inspected?
We didn't get our certificate yet, but it was inspected.
So we now have new maintenance for our building, right?
I'm sorry, what's that?
We have new maintenance services for this building. We got rid of whomever we had.
You're talking about cleaning services?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a different line.
This is
This is maintenance for, upkeep,
What
repair of
number
the
are we
building.
looking at?
page
420.
420. 375,
At the top.
420.
Oh,
Page
so then-
52,
So then we have Clark Field and Memorial cleaning in here. Right, am I right?
Yes.
Right, so this guy was questionable, I think at one time. We okay with them because we had a problem with they were really cleaning the fields? You actually see the fields more than us, so.
they have improved, the facilities are clean now.
So why are we up another $3,000 on that? Because we're including stuff? We're talking 420, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, we're talking about cleaning, which I believe is a different line item.
No, well,
It's
it's
in
on
the,
page 130, on the actuals. It's definitely cleaning.
Yeah, this is the problem. That's the problem. I mean, we got stuff all over it, so.
Let's see,
There's 1, 2, page 130 at the very bottom of 130, carrying over to the top of page 131.
Yeah, Clark Memorial Field cleaning.
This
Clark-
is separate cleaning from the Borough Hall and Police Station.
Correct,
Yes.
yes.
Correct.
Township Baseball gives us money for cleaning? This is for the field?
This
They
is
give
for
us
the bathrooms.
$2,500.
This is for the bathrooms.
I know, so we have cleaning for the bathrooms in here, but there's a reimbursement from Township Baseball, 20.
Yes, we renovated all the buildings. We put new roofs on them because they were in deplorable conditions. So we spent $6,350, and the town reimbursed us a portion of that because technically they are your buildings, they're not ours. So we initially paid the whole bill, and then when we brought it to the attention of the administration, they reimbursed us $2,500 of that, 63 and change, Bob.
That's good.
So it's still a value to
That's
the
a
town.
deal.
Are those the original dugouts that?
Yes.
Mr.
So we had all,
built?
so we had all the wood, the rotten wood. There was a lot of rotten wood replaced. We had them power washed. We had them painted. We had them re-roofed. All the 4 dugouts at Cherry Field were done, and the 2 dugouts at Clark Field were done. And I believe the DMF was gonna put roofs on at Memorial, but then with everything going on, I don't think they ever got to it, right, Mr. Cumming? I know
I don't think so.
they're deplorable also, so.
Right.
so getting back to 420. Actual was 11.5. It's up to 15. We expecting more to happen, less to happen? We're happy with the services?
I think the lock system still needs to be replaced, the automatic locks, both at Memorial and Clark, right? We've had issues with them, and they're outdated. We can't reset the internal clock, so the doors remain open, or they open when they're not supposed to be open, and they get vandalized at night. So I know that's one of the costs that Mr. Tovo was looking into
Okay.
for both Memorial and all the fields, because they open up, and then the kids vandalize
Right,
them.
I
It's
understand.
disgusting, and then we
Did you
pay.
ever put cameras at Clark?
No, we did not. That was one of the things we were looking to do, but we didn't do.
And that's included in capital in one of the out years, to start putting cameras in remote locations, parks.
We don't have a lot of cameras in this town, do we?
No, we didn't.
No.
No, not around town, we don't.
That's, it's something that we talked about at our shared service meeting, and I'll present that at the next.
I'm okay with the increase because I think things always come up. I know this lock system needs to be replaced, Bob, so
Yeah, no,
it's not gonna be cheap.
You have to maintain it, there's no doubt.
The question is, should cleaning be included?
I don't
I
know.
mean,
It's been.
Good question. I mean, the other line we have is for cleaning of our municipal buildings. I mean, I would think logically we should start putting those all together, so we have,
Yep.
one place to look for cleaning?
We tried to do one contract at one time, just so you know, Bob Wilson.
I mean, if it was 2 contracts, I should still be in the same
No,
place.
that's fine.
Well, the problem, I guess the question I have is that we have something called building maintenance, and then we have park and field maintenance.
Well, that was the mulch we put in last year, right? That should all be the cost of, bringing all the new playground mulch in last year and all that, Mike?
Testing.
Certified playground
Yes.
mulch, 12K.
Yep. So like fencing, I would say building maintenance is physical structures. Park field maintenance would be like fence repairs, all kinds of stuff like that, repairs.
Aeration,
Aeration, there you go.
fence.
I'm okay with the 15,000
Our
for that
blanket never
line.
got put down, I see.
Again,
It's not time yet.
we will,
We need,
I mean, we have a
several 45-degree days
we have a
in a row.
big,
To aerate, seed, put the blankets down.
Oh, he's gonna aerate, okay.
Yeah.
we have a big control number here, so as long as we have enough in there, and in the past, we've moved it around a
Yeah.
lot.
Now we're
So-
spending it, yeah, so.
So, if you think we were.
So I'm
gonna
okay
use it-
with 420, you gentlemen okay with 420?
Sure.
Item 901-28375-640, 22,000 budgeted, 22,000 requested. Are we okay with that?
That is,
No,
what kinds of things?
well, we spent 24K,
But that included 12K of mulch, right?
12K of mulch.
Yeah.
Which we won't be doing again this year.
But I think there's some serious JIF issues on the playgrounds themselves that need to be addressed, Bob.
Well, if there is, this won't cover it.
I know it won't, but I think we need to, I don't think you want to cut this line because I think, there's other issues that need to be addressed at those playgrounds.
Well, I think in looking at, the next several line items we're going to discuss, I don't think we can afford to cut much. We really need a year to evaluate, are we doing this the way we should be? And I know just, again, coming in the end of 18, discovering all the things that weren't done maintenance-wise or even safety-wise, we quickly got a lot of that addressed, so a lot of it we won't be paying for this year, but I don't know and I don't know.
I think the
There's
new,
more out there.
That stuff would not come under capital expenses?
I think the new,
No, not those items.
I think the new bleachers that we're gonna have to buy for all the fields are gonna be a big expense.
They are.
I still don't understand how the damaged bleachers where people broke their ankles on them and still remain damaged 5 years later, 6 years later is an abomination on our town. We were sued because people fell off them and we left them like that. And that says a lot because it means.
And they're still like
And they're still like that, Bob. Go take a look at them. They're bent because somebody drove into them, and somebody fell off of them, broke her ankle, had to have pins put into it. Multiple people, not just one, sued us. We went through insurance, and those bleachers still look like that. I believe she fell off of 5, 6 years ago. I'm not going to mention her names, but it's sad that. And now with the new law that says, now the new law says if the bleachers have 4 or more,
Side rails?
they need side rails around the whole thing, which we don't have on any of our bleachers, so.
And again, here we have an issue with the person or persons that are supposed to be looking out for those potential risks.
Jif?
JIP,
Yeah, right.
okay?
That doesn't
We have to have a certified, we should have a certified specialist. And
I think this number might be light, depending on if we have to replace all these bleachers this year.
Well, I think we had to look to try to defer some of the cost of capital if we need to replace them.
Would they be capital, Drew? Okay.
Could be.
Depend upon the cost.
What's that?
Depend upon the cost. I mean,
It'll have,
replacement.
it'll have the lifespan, just a
Size.
bit cost.
We can lump them together as one versus individually.
Okay, all right.
when you talk about capital, is there a certain number it has to reach dollar-wise? for it to be-
$5,000 in the last 5 years.
Has to be $5,000 and the product has to last 5 years?
Yes.
And does it have to be a permanent structure? Is that how that works? No? Okay.
No, because they move them, they take them off Memorial, bring them to all the fields, and they bring them back to Memorial.
Well, some of the, some of those that they have, like the one down at Sherry, they have pads for them, so that's obviously a permanent.
There's no pads on.
There's no pads on those bleachers?
No.
There's no cement pad?
Oh, yeah, you mean,
Yeah.
but they get picked up, thrown in the back of a dump truck and brought to Memorial every year. and that's-
I understand, I'm saying at that field, as a permanent structure, but the
Yes,
pad is permanent.
Yes, the pad is
Okay,
permanent.
and if it was done correctly,
They should be bolted
They
down
should
to
be
that
bolted
pad,
into
but
it,
we can't
exactly.
bolt them down to that because. they
if it
get
was done
moved.
correctly.
Yes.
Thank you.
So Mr. Tovo, has, I don't know where the responsibility lies or where it would come from, but DMF and/or Recreation, since they either maintain it or use it, maybe the baseball, have they come to us with any, aside from maintaining it, which is a run rate, have they come to us with anything that they want to do? And the reason I ask that is, you know, we talk about the mulch, and Mike has said on multiple occasions that putting, you know, a permanent padded surface like they have over in the duck pond and in Ridgewood, I mean, to me, that's what we should be doing, you know, not putting mulch because a day later after the kids swing their feet, there's a giant gap that no one fills back in. So,
Well, that's a maintenance, like,
okay.
like in most towns, once a week, somebody goes and redistributes the mulch. I know it's labor intent, it's an added labor cost, but if we kept on top of it, those ruts don't get to the point where we were, that we had, you know, 2 foot below a swing.
So-
That mulch is very expensive, Mike. I mean, you know,
I understand that, but, you know, this is where I feel like we don't have a plan. And do we need a plan? The field house at Memorial, forgetting whatever we plan to do, whether we're going to put a dome and AstroTurf and everything, that field house, I don't think is moving anywhere. So do we need to do something with those bathrooms? Because when we go there for the concerts and some field day, I mean, I understand they're outdoor bathrooms, they're rec fields, but, you know, they're not in the best shape. They, you know, they're not maintained in the best manner. And, you know, do we need to do something there? Do we need to do something to the swings and the little kid play areas? So, again, we have money. We're asking for money. I think it's a valid investment, but do we need something over and above this? And has Rec, DMF, or whomever come to us with anything other than a run rate sort of maintenance?
Based on the list you've enumerated, the only thing that's come to my attention are bleachers.
Okay. All right.
the bleachers are a big issue. I know Mr. Scuderi has addressed a lot of the maintenance down at Memorial Fieldhouse. Unfortunately, they put all the new stuff in, and the children or whoever vandalized it again, and he had to replace it, I believe, again. But he fixed all the bathroom doors. They all lock, all the stalls now have new locks on them that belong to the stalls, not like something haphazardly put together.
Okay.
So all the stalls lock now. All the toilets are flushing. All the sinks are working.
Okay.
But again, there's always room for more, Mr. Olmsted.
Sad thing is, we did those less than 10 years ago, and you would never know that they were done.
It's a rough
And to
environment.
be perfectly honest with you, I have not had the chance to look real deeply into our rec facilities and as the
Well, just
weather
getting the
breaks, we
doors
start to use them.
well,
so-
just Mr. Scuderi ordering the new door locks and stuff like that to make them lockable.
No,
is a
he's been
huge-
great.
He's been great at it, and, you know, he's spent a lot of time
Okay.
on this, but you're all right, Mike. There's always, I believe the field house probably needs a new roof, because every roof in this town is beyond its useful life. So I'm sure if you go up on that roof and look at it, it needs to be replaced, Bob. This one needs to be replaced too.
roof is shot.
This roof is shot too.
This is shot. We took a professional look at it while we're putting in the air, and I'm
It's
telling
bad.
you, that's gonna be a
That's because of the
big
wind,
number.
when the tree hit it. It's the wind, the tree hit it, so we should chip it.
You heard it last night,
There's
right?
probably a lot of them out there right now.
Yeah. it just blew up.
Probably.
All right, who's putting the claim in tomorrow?
Skylights?
Put in a claim.
All right, so.
Are we okay with
Let's
leaving
move
that
on.
one at 22,000, gentlemen?
Okay?
Parks portable bathrooms, 901-28375-780, 3,000 requested, 3,000 budgeted. Everybody okay with that?
Policy question for council. I know that there are many left there all year long. Should we bring them in during the off-season?
They're not, they're after November. They all come back, November, they all come back,
Porta potties?
I think I've seen a couple still out there.
where? Well, that means the company
They
we
didn't pick
rent.
them up, well, I haven't seen a bill, so we're not
Yeah.
paying for it.
Yeah.
As long as we're not paying.
And
Yeah,
is
but
this is just for regular use, so do we bring in porta potties for Town Day and
Yes.
for?
Yeah, and that should be charged to the event.
Okay,
Yeah, this is for all the fields that don't have, the only fields that have bathrooms is Memorial and Clark. The
Okay.
rest of them all have porta potties.
okay.
Field striping parks, 90128, 375781, 3,100 requested, 3,100 budgeted. We okay with that?
What's the increase?
It's the same as last year.
This from the rec guys?
You spent 23.
Yeah, one of the
Requested
comments
31.
was that we could have done more striping.
So you wanted to match the 17,
Yeah,
which was a high
let's
year.
spend the budget amount, see what they get us.
Rehabilitation of Memorial Field, 90128377200. We budgeted 40, request was 40.
Definitely
Sorry,
not,
were you- oh, you're
without a
down
plan,
there.
What's that?
not without a plan. I'll,
And we
40,
are working on the plan. And we will have that for you before this budget goes up for a vote.
Flag it for now.
We're going to flag
Flag
it.
it.
I mean, I'm fine with 40 or if it's more, but if we don't have a plan, we're not going to budget 40 and spend 7. And
Yeah, it's just, it's not, yeah, I agree with you, Mike.
Forgive me, we just barely got started.
No, it's not a reflection of
And
you,
that's
Art.
me.
It
It
is.
is, that's me.
No, no.
I
it's-
barely got started when
this
my
is-
feet
Well, you
hit
were
the
made a lot of
ground
promises.
in
You were
March.
made a lot of promises, and they didn't come to fruition, and now you know how to fix those
We had-
promises.
We had problems.
We had problems.
And Art, I don't mind funding this as long as, it's being used.
We now know what your
It's not a
plan is for
problem.
2019, because of all the problems you had trying to get through it in 18, so,
We haven't even shared them, I just.
Correct,
You
yeah.
know of some of the
Yeah.
things, and I didn't get a chance to
correct.
clarify that to
So,
everybody else.
moving
I'm
on,
sorry
we'll,
about that.
we'll
okay.
we'll go through the library, and we'll stop at the library, if that's okay with everybody. Library contribution due after expense, $487,711 requested, same amount budgeted, under 240, that's a state mandate, right, Mr. Tobo?
It is, all these numbers are consistent with mandate and a request from the library director.
Okay.
This is a percentage or something.
That's a percentage of
Yeah,
something.
One-third
Yeah.
mill.
Mill, third of a mill.
Valuation.
Yep.
You're right, Bud.
Library health benefits paid by Township, 90129390250, 69,500 requested, 69,500 budgeted. We okay with that?
It's a number, it's the actual.
Library pension paid by Township, 90129390260, $32,153 requested, $32,153 budgeted. We okay with that?
Actuals.
Library insurance paid by Township, 901-390-270, $11,600. Requested $11,500. Is that a typo?
Oh, it should be 11.6.
11,600, okay.
That's an actual number, it actually went down a little bit.
Okay. We okay with that?
So which number do we want? I'm so.
The 11,600 number, right?
They're no longer paying for snow plowing, right?
No, because we're doing, the DMF is
We're
doing the
doing
snow
it now.
plow.
They're
That
paying for
remark
their own
was taken
cleaning.
to heart right
What's that?
away.
They're paying for their own cleaning.
Yeah, they have their own cleaning
That
service,
was
yes.
ridiculous.
But they were originally snow plowing themselves and doing it on
They
their
were
own,
doing it, yeah.
instead of DMF doing it.
Yeah.
So last year, we,
Because that's what we did.
We
Let-
saved $400.
last year,
Because
we
we saved a
funded
few hours of the gentleman being there.
some new HVAC, or we assisted with the HVAC over there.
Yes.
Have they asked for anything over and above the 1/3 mil?
Only in capital.
Okay, so there's capital items?
Yeah.
Okay.
Prior year bill finance, 0, 0. Accumulated leave compensation, 0 and 0.
Can I just comment on that? Can you look at that one too, Judy? Because I think we funded this, and we also funded the unemployment big time. I don't know what the unemployment is, but. we
Which
have a
one?
lot of- This is the accumulated leave compensation. We were light at one period, and then we started funding it to catch up because we were behind.
Yeah,
So
I think
just
we're
wanna
well
make-
funded there.
I just want to make sure, I think we are, because I think from last year, we said that's the last 75.
Correct, that was the last 75 last year, you said.
But we also have funded, there's an unemployment fund that we have a ton of money in, and we pay like $12,000, $15,000 a year in unemployment. We have mega money.
There should be a separate unemployment.
Yeah, there is a separate.
Council.
It's a separate, it's on my letter that
So
I
we'll stop
sent.
there. All right, gentlemen, motion to adjourn?
Oh, wait a minute.
What's that?
Wait a sec. I wasn't ready for that.
Do you want to just go through just the holidays and sell it in town, David?
No, we're
Yeah,
gonna wait,
we're
we're gonna
still-
wait to, yeah.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, this should all be reserved anyway.
Motion to adjourn, gentlemen?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes.
And when do you anticipate next?
Well, Monday, we're gonna go into, Monday, we're gonna go into budget as soon as we're done with the regular meeting.
Okay.
I would say let's do next Wednesday with the fire and police, Bob, if we can schedule that.
This week.
So
All right, so Monday, you're gonna
Monday, next
suspend
week.
conference and do budget?
Yeah, we'll suspend conference, there's really nothing on conference, we'll suspend it, we'll go to budget. So Monday, we're gonna do Pollard and closed with, all the litigation stuff.
That's
Can
on,
we-
And then
that's the
Wednesday,
4th.
right?
That's the 4th, and then the 6th, we'll do a special meeting with police and fire and DMF.
And
What
then
time?
finish up on the Saturday?
Do you want to do
Wait,
Oh, wait, that's too
three
many.
in one
we're
meeting?
never gonna get,
Yeah, police and fire
I
on
would say,
Wednesday,
and then DMF
What?
and recreation
on
together.
Saturday.
And then anticipate finishing Saturday?
Yes, finishing Saturday.
Time on
Good
Wednesday?
for Saturdays.
7:30,
7:30 on Wednesday?
yep.
7:30 on Wednesday night?
Yeah, because 7 o'clock was too hard for everybody to get
Okay.
here, so,
And then you wanna do Saturday, the...
at 9 AM,
So this Wednesday or next?
next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, we're gonna do Monday's meeting, we're gonna have Pollard.
You can
The
do it
following
Wednesday,
meeting, you're gonna
Wednesday.
invite police and fire.
Here on-
And then Saturday, you're gonna invite
Wednesday.
DMF and
recreation
rec.
and
DMF.
DMF.
Now, when am I ricing everybody for whatever,
Well, you're ricing Pollard for Monday,
right?
and everybody else for Wednesday to Saturday, Wednesday or Saturday, right? Because police, right, we're gonna be on Wednesday, so we gotta make sure police.
I'm sure we're gonna-
Are you, I don't think you're gonna have time
Just
to
rice
do
them.
everybody in that way.
Mike,
No, I
rice
would think
them,
one of the
Mike.
rice them for,
Rice them for, rice everyone for each meeting. What's the difference?
Rice
What's that?
everybody all the time.
Rice
You want
everyone.
Rice everybody for all 3 meetings
want it
this
double
way.
Because you never know if you gotta go back somewhere and
Yeah,
talk,
exactly.
you know?
So we're gonna do next Monday is?
Monday, Wednesday,
Monday,
Saturday.
Wednesday, Saturday, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.